Here, and we'll come back with the coaches as we talk to them right after this. Bob Ricca is the coach of the Storm of St. John's, and Bob, as you look to this afternoon's game against the Dukes of Duquesne, the bowl picture looks a little brighter for you thanks to some help that you got with Marist losing.
Well, it certainly looks brighter, but it's still our destiny in our own hands, Kevin. We have to win. It's a must-win for us today and a must-win for us next week. So one game at a time. The kids know if we do that, if we accomplish our mission, then we'll have a reward at the end of the season.
To that end, I would imagine that a big part of the offensive arsenal once again will be Jerome Creighton. We saw him break out with 100 against Georgetown. He's had that every game since, lugging the ball, getting almost 6 yards a carry. Tell me about the way Jermaine has progressed over the last few games.
Jermaine certainly has developed. He's given us that needed punch on the offense. Week in and week out, he's learning to read the defense, learning when to make the cut, when to just lower the shoulder. You know, coming from high school, there's a transition, and he certainly is making it well right now. Defensively, the game plan today in stopping the Duquesne offense. Well, Duquesne offense, we expect them to, the typical Penn State type offense, smash mouth, come right at you, and also we think it's going to be a real physical football game, and we're sure we're up to the challenge.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. Now let's go to Billy Taylor, who is with the head coach of Duquesne, Greg Gattuso.
Thanks, Kevin. We're with Coach Greg Gattuso of the Duquesne Dukes. Coach, what do you have to do to stop the St. John Red Storm?
Well, we got our hands full today. St. John's has done a great job in recruiting, bringing in some very talented young freshman players, the running back, the quarterback, some receivers. So we're going to go out and just really the big key to me is just if we can tackle and do a good job putting them on the ground. The running back has broken a lot of runs on missed tackles, so we're going to concentrate real hard on being physical and trying to hit them at every opportunity.
What about your offense? You've had some problems in the backfield.
We're real beat up. We're starting tailbacks out with a knee injury. Our backup tailback, who had a great game Monday night, is very questionable right now. We don't know how long he'll last, if he can go at all. A free safety, we moved over. Brian Cornell is a talented young kid, is in the locker room at 104 temperature, so he's not playing. So I'm not quite sure who's going to play tailback. You might see me lined up out there a little bit. I don't know, but we're hurting a little bit in that spot.
Well, Coach, good luck to you. And last thing, is Penn State going to win the national championship?
I think without a doubt. I think they should be number one. And we got to get it set up for Nebraska and Penn State to play, hopefully.
Well, you heard it here first. We're right back in a few moments for the kickoff. Thank you.
MAC Football is brought to you in part by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers. For state-of-the-art home electronics, computers, cameras, music, movies, and more, nobody beats the Wiz.
Nobody Beats the Wiz and Mitsubishi present the most brilliant visual experience on a scale never seen before. The world's only 40-inch Big Tube television. But something even larger is on the horizon. Buy any Mitsubishi Big Tube, Big Screen, or VCR and pay no money down, no interest, and no payments till the year after next for the Mitsubishi experience today at Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers.
While Dennis Vacco put criminals behind bars, Karen Burstein voted to make it tougher to keep them there. Ultra-liberal Karen Burstein voted against mandatory sentences for armed felons and against the death penalty. And Karen Burstein even voted against making child pornography a crime. It's scary how wrong Karen Burstein is on the issues that matter most. Fortunately, we have a choice. Dennis Vacco, the tough Attorney General New York needs.
Cy Sperling, president of Hair Club for Men.
Although I was Hair Club's first client, I had my hair done for personal reasons prior to going into this business. At 27, I was overweight, my hair was thinning. I used to sweep the hair on top of my head, spray it. I'd have nightmares about windy days, going swimming. My new hair made a world of difference. Whether it's wet, I'm just blow drying, or just running my fingers through my hair. It feels like my hair.
If your hair is thinning, call our toll-free number now. We'll send you our 16-page color brochure free.
First, Mario Cuomo cut a cynical deal to buy votes with a $9 billion bailout of Lilco. Now he's cut another deal for Rudy Giuliani's support. Just 3 days after Giuliani's endorsement, the New York Times reported that Giuliani is already counting on 150 million more of your state tax dollars. Billions for Lilco, hundreds of millions for Giuliani, and tax increases for us. Don't let Mario Cuomo buy this election with your money.
Welcome Welcome to MAC football. St. John's University takes on the Duquesne Dukes here at Red Storm Field. An ideal day for football. Temperatures up around 70 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and feels more like early October instead of early November. Joining us again for the broadcast, Billy Taylor, the BT Express, the former running back with the Jets and Giants. He'll be our color man, and Kevin Christopher will patrol the sidelines. I'm Ed Ingalls, and Duquesne won the flip of the coin, dressed in their white and blue with red helmets, and elected to receive, so that means St. John's will have to kick off in this game. Billy, you know, at Duquesne, they've got some problems physically.
Yes, they do. Their running game is a little bit short. They've had some injuries during the course of the week with their running backs, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game. I think St. John's is going to have to take advantage of this situation by playing good defense and tackling well, Ed.
Well, Duquesne certainly will have to make some adjustments in their offensive situation because Brian Cornell, the backup tailback, is on the bench. He's not even dressed. He has 104-degree temperature. Last we heard, obviously, it's not that bad, or he wouldn't be on the bench. But the starting running back, Bill Green, the tailback, has a sore ankle. So the backfield situation, running backs in particular, a problem today for Duquesne as Rosato takes the kick inside the 10. Doesn't find much room, comes up just shy of the 20-yard line, so Duquesne will go first down and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
You know, Ed, I think it's very important for Duquesne to start off well the first 5 minutes because they're the underdog in this game. They realize that St. John needs the game to really keep in contact with winning the MAC conference. So Duquesne really has got to start out well if they have any chance of upsetting St. John's today.
Yes, St. John starts the day a half game behind Marist in the race for the MAC title. And this ball game is brought to you by Pepsi. Drink Pepsi, have fun, be young. First and 10 for Duquesne. Brian Staines is back at quarterback. He did not start Monday night against Arnold because of a bad ankle. He has had put up big numbers throwing the ball and completes the ball on a throw, a drop. And let's see what the call is. Incomplete pass. It was intended for Todd Swinner, number 37. Ken Forte came up, made the big hit, forced him to cough it up, so it goes to second and 10. This broadcast is also sponsored by First Fidelity, a proud sponsor of MAC Football League action. So Bill with second and 10 here. The Dukes of Duquesne have liked this year to mix the passing game up with a running game that would run inside the tackles. But because of the injuries, Rosato has to start. He is the wide receiver. He starts at tailback today with Gribble the fullback. Gribble the up back, Rosato the deep back out of the eye. Staines again looking to throw. And completes it across the 35-yard line to the other tight end, Jim Boomer, who takes it out close to midfield, where Ken Forte again comes up to make the stop. Forte, number 49, makes the stop on Jim Boomer, who has his 7th reception of the year.
And Ed, as you look at the replay, it's a rollout. It's a play-action fake to the fullback going outside. The tight end comes around, and I think Staines really shows you his arm right here. Puts the ball on the money, on the move, and really a great opportunity for Duquesne to do some damage right here. They're in good field position right now, Ed, which gives them a chance to open up the game right here.
Well, Billy, that was a 28-yard pickup, first down and 10 for Duquesne. Staines on the year has completed almost 50% of his throws, so he is an accurate passer. There's a flag as Rosato trying to go wide. Gets a nice block and does turn the corner, but it may come back because of the flag. Again, Ken Forte has been very busy. The right cornerback, along with Kurt Ditzler, the free safety, come up to make the stop for St. John's. Duquesne comes into this ball game on a short work week, having beaten Iona in Monday Night Football. Now, you'll see in the Duquesne backfield, don't look for Bill Green, number 5, to start. He's on the bench with that bad ankle. He is available to play. Joe Rosato starts in that position. Rosato listed as a wide receiver playing tailback right now. Mark Neely is the primary receiver for this Duquesne team. The offensive line, it's an offensive line that has been rebuilt. An offensive line which St. John's coach Bob Ricker calls the best offensive line that St. John's has faced this season. So the penalty goes against Red Storm, gives the Dukes a first down just inside the St. John's 41-yard line. We are scoreless in the first minute of action, but Duquesne is on the move. Staines looking to throw for the third time in this game. But this time he has to run, and he picks up about 4 yards of the play. Big Ray Lambright, a first-team MAC All last year, comes up to make the stop. There for the St. John's defense, we mentioned Ray Lambert. He is the main man in that defensive line, a All-MAC player last year. It's also a defensive line, which has been one of the cornerstones of the St. John's team. And in the linebacker situation, Walter DeForest, I think Billy Taylor would agree, maybe the best middle linebacker in the league we've seen this year.
Absolutely.
And on the secondary, Ken Forte has been a standout at right cornerback for St. John's. So Duquesne goes 2nd down and 6 now on the move. This is Rosato. Didn't get much running room there, Billy, as the St. John's defense reacted well to that play as Chris Carew and Steve Dombrowski come up to make the stop for the Red Storm.
Yes, they did, but I think what Duquesne is doing, they're only running the ball to keep him honest, because if you look at it, the play action and their passing game is going to enable the running game to get going. But right now I think that I have to give my hat off to Brian Staines, because he's really showing a great amount of poise for a young quarterback, and I think he's done an excellent job.
He is a junior, 6'3", 210 pounds from Connorsville, Pennsylvania. And now they've got Todd Sinner in as a tight end. He is the receiving tight end. They go with 3 wideouts and 1 setback as Staines wants to throw on 3rd down. Flag is thrown, pass is incomplete. Talks of the flag in the backfield of Duquesne, Billy, and that usually means holding, and that's the call against the Dukes, holding.
And this is the situation that really puts them in a bind, because their offense has been moving the ball. They've been able to get inside of St. John's territory, and to have a holding penalty really sets them back, because they needed to have something positive for them to happen, because they've lost 2 out of the last 3 games, and in order to get going against St. John's, they really need some positive action right now.
I would think, too, Bill, they've changed their game plan. They wanted to come in here and run the ball in the Red Storm. At least that's what the coach, Greg Gattuso, told me earlier in the week. He said, we want to bang away at St. John's on the ground, but when Green was hobbled by the ankle, and his backup, Brian Cornell, came down with the flu, it really stripped Duquesne of the running backs, and so they've become an aerial attack here on a 4th and 5 situation. They will go for it. They overload the left side with a slot formation. St. John's showing blitz and fumble. Even if they recover Duquesne, they will turn the ball over on downs to St. John's. So St. John's turns away Duquesne in their first thrust of the day.
And that was interesting, Ed, because St. John's had 3 down linemen, and they tried to blitz a lot of people. So they were trying to confuse Brian Staines, the quarterback, by alternating their defense to show that they were in a zone and then come back with a blitz, which puts them in man-to-man coverage.
Were you a little surprised there, Billy, they didn't punt it away?
Yes, I was, because they would have put their offense, St. John's, in a deep bind. Now they have pretty good field position at the 37, Ed.
So St. John's goes 1st and 10, and their main man is number 22, Jermaine Creighton, an outstanding running back. He's averaged 177 yards on the ground the last 4 games per game. And he gets the handoff on the 1st down. He carries people with him out across the 40. So Creighton, putting up big numbers, has become the leading rusher in the MAC at this point as Greg Goulia makes the stop. He's 5'10", 250, the sophomore for Duquesne. But St. John's picks up almost 5 yards on the first play, Billy, with Creighton carrying it.
Well, he showed extra effort because he was hit at the point of attack, kept his legs turning, and picked up 4 yards. Really shows you why he's leading the conference in rushing.
St. John's with 2 outstanding wide receivers, and Hatwood, number 23, and McPherson, number 87. And this is the quarterback, Mark Levine, as he goes for McPherson and completes the pass, and a beautiful catch by McPherson. Mark Levine, the freshman out of Freeport, New York, has come on here the last 3 or 4 games, throwing the ball very well, Billy, as we'll see in the starting lineup. Levine's played well, Creighton's played well, and Nitra's played well. Nitra, the fullback, very dangerous as a pass receiver. He caught 9 passes the last game. Anderson has had to move in as a tight end because they lost Dan Parker, their starting tight end. On the offensive line, it's a line which has much improved the last 3 or 4 games. As it has gotten better, St. John's has gotten better, and that's why the Red Storm has won their last 4 in a row. Quick handoff to the fullback on the inside slant just to keep everybody honest. And Anitra, who's a burly fullback at 6'0", 220, is stopped by John Wojciechowski, number 44, the defensive end for Duquesne.
Well, I think the offensive line for St. John's is going to be the key if they can control the line of scrimmage to allow the running backs, both Creighton and Anitra, to have some room. It can open up their entire offense. I think Mark Levine is probably one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and the St. John's offense is good.
There's your linebacker situation. Ken Smith is an outstanding linebacker for Duquesne. He's made a lot of tackles. And Mons, the cornerback, very small but very effective. This is Levine with nice play action on this one. He hits the big guy, and Nanitra, who bounces off people inside the 30 and gets the first down, brought down by Paul Duffy, a third-year starter for Duquesne. He is one of 7 players who has spent 5 or 6 years with Coach Greg Gattuso, because Gattuso had them in high school. Then when he went to Duquesne to coach in the college level, he brought them with him, and that's a first down for St. John's.
I like that play because Anitra is a good pass receiver. He knew where the first down was. He got hit right when he caught it. He spun and picked it with the extra effort, was able to pick with the first down. Great effort. Nice job by Anitra.
Red Storm moving, Billy. 11:08 to go in the first quarter was scoreless. First down and 10 for St. John's. Handoff is to Creighton. Nice cutback. Creighton goes inside the 20, comes up just shy of the first down. Big thing with Creighton, Billy, as he's stopped by Ken Smith, is the fact that he has become a very effective runner, and we'll talk about that in a moment.
As you look at the replay, the offensive line, it was what I call a delayed draw, and really showed you the cutting ability of Jermaine Creighton. He gets up in there, shows his explosiveness, and really accelerates in the hole. And I think that's the difference between a good running back and a great running back, Ed, is being able to accelerate in the hole.
He does that well, and one reason why he's able to do that, Billy, is they changed the way he runs the ball here the last few games. Originally, they said, okay, we're going to let you read, and you pick the holes. That didn't work out too well, so what they said, okay, let's simplify things for you. As you see the stakes being stretched out there to see if it's a first down, comes up just shy. They said, we'll pick the hole for you to go through, and we'll tell you what to expect when you get through the hole, who's going to be coming on and converging on you. And as a freshman running back, it's made things a lot simpler for Creighton, and he's been more effective because of it.
And that's, I think, what the difference in coaching is, because when they have a good athlete like that, you've got to put him in the best position to be effective.
So second and short yardage for St. John's inside the Duquesne 20. And Levine sneaks for the first down as he just went right behind the right side, behind Michael Cotter, who has moved in as a right guard at 5'10", 197 pounds. Very small, but he's been an effective player for them, Bill. He's really done the job since they moved him in there.
As you look at the replay, Levine goes right over the center and the guard. The offensive line is the big key in that. They get a good surge, and Levine gets the first down.
Mike Orsi makes the stop as St. John's goes first down and 10, just inside the Duke's 15-yard line. Little fancy work there as they try to get Anitra going. Boy, he just bounces off people. Doesn't get much, but that was a play, Bill, where Anitra could have lost a couple. Instead, he picked up a couple before Joe Neckerman, the 220-pound junior, made the stop.
Oh, Anitra is tough as a nail. He gets hit because of the penetration on the defensive line, really keeps his leg moving and going forward, and really shows you how tough he is as a fullback. And I think when you got a good offense, you must have good inside and outside, and with Anitra and Creighton, they have both of that for St. John's.
Anitra's 220. He's out of Bayshore, Long Island. The pickup of 2 on the play, so it's second down and 8 just inside the 15. Levine looking to throw. Going for the corner of the end zone, and the catch is touchdown. A nice throw, just staying inbounds. They pulled in with a beautiful catch on a nice throw by Levine. Boy, he just lobbed that ball, put up there beautifully to number 49 of St. John's, and making the catch was Ken Forte, who is a defensive back. That was a surprise. Forte catches his first ball this year. They put him in for that play as a wide receiver. And you know what they say about cornerbacks? He usually doesn't have good hands, but this one does apparently, Bill. The way he caught that ball was very nice.
As you look at the replay, Levine actually looks to the left and throws back to the right to Ken Forte. Throws it on the only possibly place he can reach it, which is the back of the end zone. The defensive back has no chance. Outstanding call and reception by Ken Forte.
Here's Ledwith with the extra point, and he nails it. So St. John's goes up 7-0 as Ledwith comes through with his 17th extra point of the year. And very quickly, the Red Storm goes in front with 9:28 to go here in the first quarter by a score of 7-0. You're watching MAC football.
Still the greatest city in the world. What better place for a great university? A university with one of the leading colleges of pharmacy in the country. A top law school and nationally accredited schools of business, whose programs are designed to meet the challenge of the new global economy, plus affordable tuition. Yes, the city is New York, and the university is St. John's.
When the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference basketball season revs into high gear this winter, all eyes will be on the prize in Albany as the Marine Midland MAC Championship Tournament returns to Knickerbocker Arena March 3rd through the 6th. Make your plans and purchase your tickets now for 4 exciting days of March Madness as the MAC men and women fight for the conference crown and a trip to the NCAA tournament. For tournament information, call 518-487-2000. The Marine Midland MAC Basketball Tournament returns to Albany, New York, March 3rd through the 6th.
So the first time St. John's gets the football, they go 63 yards in 8 plays to score, Billy. And here's again the throw of Levine's beautiful pass. What a nice tight spiral, too, Bill.
That was nice. And threw it the only place it could be, which is the back of the end zone. I like that. But the good thing about St. John's is I think the first time you get the ball, if you really go right at the defense, it kind of shows you that you mean business. And I think the first 5 minutes of any contest is very important. St. John's has a chance to win the MAC conference. This game is very important to them, and they had to come out and play well. They're doing that good. Now it's up to the defense to contain Duquesne, which did not do as well offensively the first time.
All right, Bill, you see the triple safety back here waiting for it for Duquesne as Ledwith gets ready to kick off. You have Kochman back there with Rosato, and it is Rosato inside the 5 with the ball. Trying to get to the wall, and he gets it across the 20 this time before he gets tripped up, and Duquesne, for the second time today, will have a relatively poor field position, going 1st and 10 from their 20, forced to go the long way.
As you look at the replay, I don't ever like to see a kickoff returner catch it when his foot is going the opposite way in which he should go. He should catch it with his body always going forward, and I think that gives him a little bit of momentum. That's why they have the ball on the 24-yard line, Ed.
Never really got his shoulder squared up either, Billy, as Duquesne goes 1st and 10 from their 24, trailing 7-0. The tailback is Rosato, who is normally a wide receiver but is subbing for the 2 tailbacks who are out today. At least one of them is gone for the day. There's the pitch to the fullback, Gribble, as he takes it across the 30-yard line. Tim Gribble with the catch. Carl Volpe making the stop. Volpe, a 5'9" senior from the Bronx. Helped out also with pressure by Anthony Ferrero. Will be pressuring Brian Staines here, Bill, on this play.
It was a simple rollout with the fullback going in the flat. He fakes it to the halfback. Fullback goes just beyond the line of scrimmage. Throws a perfect pass, turns it up first, gets 8 yards. And I think that's the kind of play that will keep the defense honest, because even though it's not a running play, it enables the defense to have to at least watch out for what they're doing.
And the Dukes like to throw the ball to Gribble, the fullback. That's his 15th reception of the year, as Duquesne picks up a big 8 yards in the play and goes 2nd and 2 from their own 33. And Staines wants to go deep. He'll take a shot at the long ball. Intercepted by St. John's at the 40-yard line. It is Kurt Ditzler returning it. And Ditzler stays on his feet till he goes down inside the Duquesne 45. That is the 5th interception of the year by Kurt Ditzler. Up to make the stop was Tim Gribble for Duquesne, but St. John's excellent field position, leading 7-0. They go 1st and 10 now, just inside the Duquesne 45. With 9:02 to go in the first quarter.
As you look at the replay, as Brian Staines goes back for the pass, he has a 7-step drop, had a man that was wide open. I would say that Mark Neely was wide open. The ball was utterly underthrown. But when this happens, the receiver's got to turn to be a defensive back. He did not do it. The interception happened.
Yeah, didn't get enough mustard on the throw. Staines is a better short passer than deep passer. Here's the draw play. Creighton breaks a tackler and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit then and good reading by the Duquesne defense. Joe Neckerman, a 3-year starter, ranked in the top 3 in tackles, came up to make the stop, along with Craig Agulio, who is also out of Pittsburgh, in to make the stop. Both Neckerman and Agulia making the stop from Pittsburgh. So no gain in the play, Billy. 2nd and 10.
Ed, I thought Neckerman did an excellent job of pursuing the ball carry, because Creighton's the kind of guy he will not go down by an arm tackle. Nice job by Neckerman.
Now remember, Duquesne has one of the top-ranked pass defenses in the entire country in Division I AA. They came in 6th in the nation. Levine's going to test it right here. Incomplete pass as he threw it to no man's land. Pass the closest man to it, Tom Goudis, number 82 for St. John's, their wide receiver. So Levine now is 3 of 4 for the day for 43 yards, that being the first pass that he's missed. Creighton, who, as we said, averages 177 yards per game the last 4 games, has rushed 3 times for 13 yards in the early going of this game.
Well, the good thing, though, Ed, is that Levine had plenty of time to throw. He wasn't rushed at all, so it seems like when that happens, he's got to be able to hit those passes.
So here's the 3rd and 10 situation for St. John's as they load up the slot on the right side. The guy they like to go to is number 87, McPherson. They put him in motion. On the long count, the pitch. Here's a reverse with the ball as McPherson looking to throw. Now he's going to run with it. Almost got a block to get him around the corner, very close to the first down. They really went out at the 37-yard line, and this will come up short of the first down. As a nice reverse then. Levine handing it off to Creighton. Creighton handing it off to McPherson. Levine, the quarterback, threw a pretty good block, too, to get him around the corner before Ken Smith who's Duquesne's best linebacker, used his good quickness to bring him down.
On those reverses, that's how you see how tough your quarterback is, Ed, because, you know, he can either take a seat or he can choose to help out. I thought Levine did a good job of trying to help out.
Not bad for a skinny freshman. 6'0", 173 brings up a 4th and 2 for St. John's as they will go for it. And it's Levine off a little play action with a nice fake. Makes the pitch as he faked it to Creighton and lobbed it to Creighton. Creighton comes up, I think, Billy, might have gotten the first down on that play. They just, see, that's the kind of play you run when you look for 2 yards. Just get something to get you 2 yards. As Mike Civitello, from his free safety spot, had to come up and make the tackle, but not before St. John's picked up a first down.
I call that a smart play, Ed, because the quarterback and the running back knew where they had to go to get the first down. Didn't take a chance on going deep. Threw the small pass, let the runner get the first down. Nice job, St. John's.
So Redstone will go 1st and 10 from the Duquesne 32-yard line. They put Hatwood out here as a receiver on the right side. He's the Big East long jump chap. They give it to Creighton, who has trouble with the balance, but he gets it just down around the 30-yard line as he picks up a long 3 on the play. Duquesne's Ken Smith was very quick and came into the game with 315 tackles. He's on a path to set the all-time record for tackles, career tackles for Duquesne. Smith up to make the stop.
Sometimes when Duquesne look like they're getting a little bit of penetration defensively, and that's going to hurt the running game. That means that the passing game for Mark Levine is wide open if he chooses to accept it, Ed.
Well, he's looking at a 2nd and 7 situation, and he might go here, Billy. He's been doing some play action. Here's that play action again, the double fake. Gets the blocking, wants to run with the ball, gets inside the 25. You know, when we saw Levine early on, Billy, he had the happy feet. He had a tendency to run a little bit too much, but he's more disciplined lately as a runner, as Paul Duffy made the stop.
As you look at the replay, he gives a fake to the halfback, which gives him a little bit more time to have room to throw. He really had a receiver open early. He chose not to go to him. Then he kind of tucked it away and headed back toward the middle. The only thing dangerous about that's where the pursuit comes, and that's how you get headaches.
Yes, I shouldn't laugh because we've got a long discussion about that. The NFL, where they have problems. Duquesne late getting their defensive tackle in the game, giving Levine more time to throw. He finds Creighton open. More than the first down as Creighton on a nice pattern out of the backfield takes it inside the 20 to the 17 where Moro Munz, a 5'7", 165-pound junior from Pittsburgh, makes the stop.
You know what I think is happening, Ed, is that Duquesne, and as you look at the replay, it kind of shows you, Duquesne is so geared to stop the run that when they do a play action, there's nobody to rush the quarterback. Now, what this happens is it brings Creighton out to the outside. He gets an open field to do his thing and picks up a first down inside the red zone.
Now, remember, this is an experienced defensive unit for Duquesne. They started the year with 13 starters off the defense. Good pressure that time, and this time they get him. That was very good pressure then by Duquesne, as they had pressure coming up the middle from number 97. He was the man who really made that play. Well, Joe Neckerman coming through to apply the pressure initially, and a loss on the play as Craig Agulio makes the stop.
See, the only thing I don't like about that play, Ed, is that when the quarterback has to elude the first man, when you're inside the 20, I think he's got to get rid of the ball because right now he takes his field goal kicker out of position. In those situations, you have to either throw the ball up in section 328 or just throw the ball out of bounds. I thought it was a bad decision by Levine.
Well, puts him back at the 28 and brings up a 2nd down and 20 situation after a loss of 10. Levine with a deep drop here. Has Hartwood open over the middle, and he bangs off people. Aaron Hatwood, number 23, Big East sprinter, was not the champion of the sprint. He was the long jump champion who has developed very quickly this year. Finally pulled down by Mike Civitello, number 27.
As you look at the replay, Levine looked like he looks deep first, then he comes underneath. The underneath patterns are working pretty well today. Shows outstanding running ability after he catches the ball. Shows toughness, takes the first lick, knows where that end zone is, and headed toward there. Now they're back inside the red zone with another good opportunity. They cannot take a sack here, though, Ed.
No, they can't, Billy, but they pick up the yardage on the play of 25 yards on the play, and 3rd and short, as they send Creighton for the first down, and he gets more than the first down as he finds running room off tackle, goes inside the 5-yard line. And right now, St. John's doing an excellent job of mixing their plays, Billy, and just about everything they call is working. Ken Smith made the stop for Duquesne.
Absolutely. And when you do this, it keeps the defense honest. When they ran that reverse, it makes the defense stay at home. When you throw the long passes, it spreads the defense. And what they have is Duquesne on defense having to guess to keep up with the St. John's offense. Great job of play calling and mixing up, as you said, Ed.
St. John's winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, and Greg Gattuso, the coach of Duquesne, had been concerned about St. John's offensive line outplaying his defensive line. And he had reason to have concern because that's been the story of this game early on. As Levine throws incomplete. A time he had Hatwood coming over the middle, also had O'Leary peeling off down the right side, but it goes as an incomplete pass and brings up a second down situation for St. John's.
You know, Ed, that reminds me of something. Dave Brown of the New York Giants has problems throwing that slant in there like that because he's had 3 run back for touchdowns. Levine must give Dave Brown some notes because he knew how to throw the ball in there on that slant.
I am impressed with the way Mark Levine has improved, Bill, since the time we saw him against Georgetown, which was 4 games ago. He has really come on very well.
He really has, and shows a lot of poise and confidence back there.
Yeah, I like his play-action improvement. His ball handling has improved immensely. Here's some of it here as they go to the fullback, and Anitra goes in. Nice little move by Anitra, untouched, he scores. I'm sorry, Creighton, Jermaine Creighton carried it in. Looked like a fullback when he went in there, threw me off behind a nice block by Dan Ryan, the left tackle.
And the good thing about that, Ed, is that he really followed his blocking very well. And as you look at the replay, they went straight at Duquesne. It was a little bit of a counterattack. He brings it outside to Creighton. Creighton gets behind the blocking and really just stays right behind his fullback and his pulling guard and really shows you that the offensive line is doing a good job.
So a 5-yard touchdown run stakes St. John's to a 13-0 lead with 4:08 to go in the first quarter. As the extra point will now come up. Steve Demick is kicking it, and it is good. It is good. So St. John's takes a 14-0 lead over Duquesne as the Red Storm controlling this game very early on. And you're watching MAC football.
Here come those hippies again.
Test 1, 2. Jack.
Is that you, Sunflower?
The place hasn't changed in 25 years.
Yeah, it's a shame. They should have put in some condos by now.
Joe, remember when we did this 25 years ago?
Country Joe McDonald.
No.
Wouldn't it be nice if your youth was as easy to hold on to as an ice cold Pepsi?
You think they'll go skinny dipping again? I hope not.
At Premier Car Rental, we specialize in replacing your stolen or damaged car. We offer free delivery of your rental car wherever you need it, home, office, or repair shop, and we'll pick it up, too. Our courteous customer service professionals will provide you with friendly, hassle-free service and have you on the road in minutes. Premier Car Rental offers 95 and 94 models, compact to full-size, and minivans, too, with rates starting as low as $24.99 a day. Ask about our weekly and weekend special rates. To reserve your car today, call 1-800-340-RENT. And remember, Premier Service is no accident.
There's so much new at Iona, it's hard to know where to begin.
Our new dorm is great. There's space for 300 students.
We have international programs, too.
I earned credits in Ireland.
We compete in Division I sports with 20 teams for men and women.
Small classes. Most are under 20 students.
Academic excellence, nurturing the mind. That's our mission at Iona.
Love is in the people at Iona.
Along with Billy Taylor and Kevin Christopher, I'm Ed Ingalls. And Billy, here's a look at that second St. John's touchdown of the day.
I thought Creighton really, as soon as he saw the hole, he showed his explosion that he has. Offensive line did an outstanding job. Ed, you could have made that touchdown.
Billy, let's not get carried away.
That hole was big enough now.
Even the hole was big enough, but would have closed by the time I got there.
No, they would have kept it open.
Now, see, I don't have to do the dive series. You know, the quick hitter, you don't want me too far back. 7 yards back in the backfield, I'm in trouble.
Okay, all right.
14-0 St. John's, as John Ledwith will kick off for the Red Storm. Duquesne rocked back on their heels in trouble in this game because of their defense's inability to stop the St. John's offense. And the fact also, Duquesne in trouble in their offensive backfield due to ailments and injuries, using a third-string tailback in this game. Again, Joe Rosato will take the kickoff, which sails 1 yard deep. Gets some running room, does Rosato. Down the sidelines. He's got a blocker in front of him. Still on his feet. He's got a couple of blockers finally pulled down from behind, but not before he goes inside the St. John's 35-yard line. So, Bill, I get that one as a 66-yard return because he took it 1 yard deep. Chris Carew finally got him from behind, and as we all know, Carew can fly, and he made the tackle, a touchdown-saving tackle there.
And as you look at the replay, this is exactly how you run a kickoff. You do not stutter step. You get the ball, and you try to get it up in there as quickly as you can. He got on his blockers very quickly. I thought he maybe had a chance to go all the way because he had blockers in front of you. Good field position for Duquesne.
Excellent blocking downfield by Duquesne that time. Their blockers got upfield in a hurry because Rosato's so fast. St. John's shows blitz as they turn the ball over to Rosato again. And he again shows speed, trying to get around the corner. Kurt Ditzler came up from the free safety spot. Ditzler shows good instincts, good sense. He's out of Islip, makes the tackle.
I thought that was a good call by the Duquesne offense, because I was showing that St. John's was getting ready to blitz. When you blitz inside, that means the outside is wide open. Joe Rosado showed his speed, picked up a good 8 yards, and puts Duquesne in a good position.
Down to the 27-yard line. A gain of 8 yards on the play makes it 2nd down and 2. This time they go with a split back formation. They've been operating basically out of the eye, Duquesne. Staines wants to throw. Now he wants to run. And he'll get the first down as he slides into second base safely, Bill. I saw the umpire give the safe sign on that one. Walter DeForest made the stop. There's Greg Gattuso, the third year at Duquesne. Started as an assistant the first year, became the head coach last year, took over a program that had gone 1-17-1 the 2 years before he got there as an assistant, has turned things around. Duquesne is now 9-9 under the former Penn State nose guard who played on that championship team at Penn State in '83, Greg Gattuso. So, for Duquesne with a 1st and 10 at the St. John's 25. And off to Rosato. And he worms and squirms for a couple of yards before it's brought down by Anthony Ferrara and Chris Carew, the ends, making the stop for St. John's.
Good tough running by Rosato, because as you look at the replay, as long as there's no penetration by the defense of St. John's, when the running back allows his shoulders to get to the line of scrimmage, he can pick up the extra yards because his body is going forward, Ed. And I thought it was an outstanding job by the surge of the offensive line of Duquesne Dukes.
Well, going into this game, Rosato had carried the ball only 4 times for 16 yards, was a wide receiver, moved to tailback today because effectively Duquesne has lost their first 3 tailbacks. Here's Rosato. Sweeping right, does not get the first down, but he gets some yardage. As now we see Duquesne is trying to go around the flanks, Bill. Why is Duquesne looking to run wide on St. John's?
Well, because the interior line of St. John's is really too big. Steve Dombrowski, Ray Lambright, those guys are really too big inside to move. Lambright is 266. Dombrowski's over almost 230. That's kind of hard to move, so I think if you get outside, then it allows the defense to spread of St. John's, and you can come back up the middle and pick up some good yards. But so far, they've been doing good outside, Ed, and until they stop it, you got to keep doing it.
And Rosato has the speed to get around the corner, too. He's a very exciting runner. They might want to throw the football to him because he's also an exciting receiver. As Duquesne goes 3rd and 3, and again the wide sweep. This time, though, St. John's is waiting for a good reaction by the defense. Ray Lambright, the defensive tackle, and Walter DeForest, the middle linebacker. The best 2 defenders in that front 7 for St. John's came up, made the play defensively.
I thought it was an outstanding job. They were able to get penetration. They took the block away from the fullback. They forced Rosato to make the cut before he got to the line of scrimmage, and that took away the play. This is 4th down. I would go for it because 3 points puts you still a little closer, but 4th down and maybe 3 yards, that's a tough situation, so I would go for it if I was Duquesne.
They have a kicker who has a strong foot, but I agree with you, Bill. Down 14 points, you need to get some big points. So on 4th and 3, inside the 20, Duquesne will go for it, and people jump all over the place. Well, let's see what they call that one. Staines very wisely, though, figured he might have a free play there, Billy, and ran with it.
Well, Staines is a smart quarterback. He's really shown me that he's got a lot of poise, but right now the defensive penetration by St. John's is really hurting, and St. John's is going to take over. I don't really know what happened on that play, but I guess it wasn't a penalty.
The penalty was against Duquesne, 5 yards, Bill.
As you look at the replay, it looked like the center snapped the ball before the snap count was allowed to go. He did the best he could, tried to pick up the first down, came up short.
And in that situation, St. John's will decline the penalty and will take over the ball 1st down and 10 at their own 17. So we're down to probably the last play of the first quarter with 28 seconds to go. And St. John's enjoying a 2-touchdown lead in this game as Mark Levine, the freshman quarterback, sets his troops down. That time he did not get a chance to throw it. Good pressure as Craig Agoulier, number 79, 5'10", 250 sophomore from Pittsburgh, came in to make the big play for the Dukes.
Outstanding job for the Dukes. They needed to create something defensively because they have St. John's pinned down inside the 20. If you can do this and make them punt, you'll get good field position, and you can still get back in this game even though you're down by 2 touchdowns.
A loss of 7 yards on the play to end the first quarter, which has been all St. John's. The Red Storm building a 14-0 lead on Cisco and Hebert.
It's alive.
Kenneth Branagh's dream becomes a nightmare when Robert De Niro comes to life in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Plus, Kevin Costner is a returning vet with a new fight on the home front. How to keep his family together.
This is our house. Don't you think we ought to fight for it?
Elijah Wood co-stars in The War this week on Siskel and Ebert.
Saturday night, 7 o'clock on TV 55.
Hey, Joe, you know, preseason is when it all starts. You work hard and get ready for the big show.
Yeah, well, preseason and Nobody Beats the Wiz is when you see the hottest new items in home entertainment and you beat the Christmas rush.
Available only at Nobody Beats the Wiz, an unbeatable combination of technology and convenience. The 27-inch Toshiba TV VCR combo.
Okay, Joe, ready? 25 times through the tire, no rim. No problem. Left-handed.
What?
It's a sneak preview in West Islip. The shopping experience everyone raves about is now open. It's Bob's Stores, with more Levi's jeans than Woodstock, more sneakers than the NBA, more doctors than a college reunion, and more kids' stuff than the Lost and Found. You'll be amazed by the name brand selection, thrilled by the great buys. Be the first on your block to come to the new Bob's Stores. Now open, Sunrise Highway, West Islip. Bob's, the original casual clothing and footwear superstore, is rated G. Great for everyone.
Sunjet proudly announces sensational airfares to brighten your day. Call 1-800-4SUNJET, meeting your expectations with great low fares to Florida. On Sunjet, you can fly New York to Orlando from just $79. Sunjet also flies New York to Tampa St. Pete from just $79. And Sunjet's nonstop service to Fort Lauderdale starts at only $79. For sensational savings, call now, 1-800-4SUNJET. Great low fares to brighten your day.
Nothing. Redmen go on a 2nd and 17 situation on an ideal day for football. Right up the middle, nice play there. St. John's picks up some yards just shy of the 20 is Jermaine Creighton. Let's go to Kevin Christopher on the sidelines. Kev?
Yeah, guys, I was a little bit surprised at that pass play. I guess maybe just because it was the end of the first quarter. Levine looking for maybe a big play, something to happen there. But Bob Rick is telling his guys we want to run dives, we want to run counter trays. Jermaine gets his 100, and we win. And that's certainly been the recipe for success of late for the Red Storm. Also, Tom McPherson was telling me, watch for those swing passes in the flat to John Anitra.
Thank you, Kevin. That's a play that worked very well last Saturday for St. John's. Anitra caught 9 passes. And there it goes out in the right flat to John O'Leary as they'll come up with a first down on a play that works again for St. John's. Levine to O'Leary, stopped by Bill Sippage, who's 5'10", 185-pound sophomore from Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. But Billy, St. John's again rattles the chains for first down out to their 32.
And that's a very conservative pass. It's a quick out pattern. Duquesne wasn't able to cover it. He was able to get his shoulders turned north and south and pick up the first down. Nice job by Levine.
So St. John's trying to move again. The first 2 times they had the ball, they scored touchdowns. Levine will go deep down the middle, but nobody is really there. Tried to hit Anitra, but Anitra was running with his back to the ball and had no chance to catch it. Damon Barry, the safety, had a better chance of catching it for Duquesne than did Anitra for St. John's.
And that's a real tough one because you're throwing the ball in triple coverage. I mean, I think Anitra, as a running back, came out of there and was hoping the ball wasn't for him because if he had a caught it, they would have killed him. Maybe he would have had one of those concussions, Ed.
Well, that's a long way to go anyway for a fullback. Anitra's not known for, a speed burner. We're not talking about a scat back going out for a pass.
I thought he was the decoy.
I think he was hoping if I catch it, somebody give me an extra shot of oxygen. So St. John's on 2nd and 10. Here is Creighton again. And he gets a couple of yards, and a flag is tossed on the play after Creighton picked up about 2. Mons, number 7. Mario Mons, 5'7", comes off a terrific game against Iona, came up to make the stop there. Mons is the best defensive back that Duquesne has.
And Ed, the one thing coaches hate is when you have a holding penalty on a running play. Now, as you look at Creighton, he did an outstanding job of following his blockers, but they had to hold a little bit, and you kind of see it, which enabled him to get outside a little bit. And coaches kind of hate that because it puts your offense really bad in a bad situation. This is second and about 20-something, and it's really going to be tough for St. John's to overcome. But Duquesne, what they have to do is toughen up right here, keep them pinned in down here so they can get the ball back on the punt in good field position.
Duquesne has to show why they're ranked 6th in the country in pass defense efficiency right here. They have to stop St. John's on a 2nd and 20 situation. Nice play action, but pressure coming. Anitra has the ball. Comes up across the 30 and gets back the yards they lost on the penalty. As Paul Duffy, the middle linebacker, 5'10", 215, the junior out of Pittsburgh, came up to make the hit for the Dukes.
And as you look at the replay, you watch what a cool customer Levine is. He realizes he's going to take the hit. He stands in there and waits to Anitra to get open, takes the hit, and really takes what the defense gives, comes back close to the original line of scrimmage so they have a better chance to pick up the first down.
So it is 3rd down and 11 for St. John's now as they operate from their own 31-yard line, leading 14-0 with 13-12 to go in the first half, and Levine with the deep drop. Over the middle, incomplete. Threw way behind the receiver. But I'll tell you, Duquesne had a chance then to make the pickoff. Paul Duffy, the middle linebacker, saw that one whiz right through his hands, and I'm sure he'll say to himself, I could have had one, Mom. I could have brought it back.
Well, Levine
could have been a contender.
And Levine's pretty good because he kind of got upset. I've seen Phil Simms get upset many, many times for the receiver not catching the ball when he takes the timeout to throw a perfect pass.
So it means they'll have to kick the ball away, St. John's. Demekus will kick it away. Not much of a kick, but he may get a decent hop inside the 40-yard line, and immediately dropped there was Bill Sippage, the return man, who averages almost 15 yards, a return which is really good return yardage after a 32-yard punt by Demekus.
Well, you know, Ed, also, we talk about the offense and defense, but the special teams on that play showed you that they're an integral part of the game also. That was great coverage by St. John's, and if you're going to be a good team and have a chance to win the MAC, your special teams are going to have to perform.
Well, both these teams have been very pleased with their special teams work this year. They've gotten good special team work both on coverage and returns. That's been a strength of both teams, as Duquesne with good field position this time. Staines with a play action. Incomplete, though. Try to throw across his body, try to hit Jim Boomer, the tight end, who made the reception of a pass in the very first play from scrimmage for Duquesne. But this time he had no chance. Good pressure then by Carew and Ferreira coming after Staines.
I thought that was the reason he was not able to get his body in full motion to throw back across the grain. The penetration by St. John's defense and DeForest and everyone was able to be a little bit too much for Staines. That's the reason the play was incomplete, Ed.
Staines looking a little better physically than he did for the Iona game on Monday. He had the ankle which hobbled him. You could see him hobbling in that game, but this game he does not seem to be hobbling as much. He's able to run the rollout, and he's hit 50% of his passes this year. That time they try a little draw with Rosado, who tries to be a little water bug and just gets across the 40, but not much there because he ran into Chris Carew, the senior from Franklin Square, Long Island.
As you look at the replay from the very beginning, the penetration by St. John's is there. It makes Rosado have to do a move before he gets to the line of scrimmage, and running backs are not effective unless you're Barry Sanders.
Yes, that or Emmett Smith wouldn't hurt either in a situation like that, but here it is 3rd and 8 for Duquesne. And hit the air raid siren, Bill, because you know what's coming here, a pass play. St. John's only rushing 3 down linemen on this play. They've got plenty of red shirts in the backfield. Swing pass off the hands of the fullback, Tim Gribble, who had 15 receptions, was trying for number 16, but couldn't hold that one in. So 4th down is here for Duquesne, as Norman Smith-Martin came through pressuring Staines on that and made him throw the ball just a little quicker than he wanted to, Bill.
Outstanding defense by St. John's. They went with 3 down linemen so they could have 8 men in coverage, Ed. And the good thing about 8 men in coverage, it makes Brian Staines have to try to beat them and read the defense. The penetration they got was too much for Staines. He had to throw the ball away, basically.
So the punting down is here. Bruce Nelson, who averages 35.7 yards per kick, one of the top punters in the MAC. He's had some good hang time lately. We'll try to kick it away to a single return man, O'Leary for St. John's. It's a nice kick. O'Leary running down the 15-yard line, eludes that first man, and got away from 2 people, but really didn't get very far before a flag is tossed on the play. Let's go down to Kevin Christopher again along the sidelines. Kev?
Yeah, fellas, keep an eye on John Anitra. After that last series, he walked over to the St. John's bench and was doubled over trying to stretch out that bruised kidney that he's been sporting the right side of his back there. So it's going to be very interesting to see how effective he is. He was moving very gingerly on the sideline after that last series.
Well, St. John's has expressed some concern this week about the condition of Anitra. Bob Ricker told me, he said, we hope he gets better, but we're concerned about the bruised back, the bruised kidney area. So penalty is called against Duquesne. Illegal block pushes him back into terrible field position inside the 5-yard line. This is the 4th time the Dukes have had the ball today. Only once have had a real good field position. A good punt, then, of 44 yards by Bruce Nelson. So rather St. John's in poor field position, I should say, for the first time today, inside their 10-yard line. They're trying to go off the left side with the ball as John Anitra, the fullback, picks up a few yards there. St. John's up 14-0 in this game.
Anitra looked pretty good on that play. I was trying to watch out because a bruised back, which is in your kidney area, really can be very painful from a running back standpoint. So, as Kevin stated, we're going to have to keep an eye on him when he goes east and west. When he's north and south, I don't think he has a problem with that, Ed.
Yeah, keep his shoulders squared. He should be all right after a pickup of a long 5 yards. Makes it 2nd down and 5 for the Red Storm. This is Creighton trying to keep his feet. Has to go east and west and not north and south that time because Joe Neckerman, the linebacker who has played a good game for Duquesne, comes up to make the stop.
What happens on that, Ed, is as you look at the first hole that he goes to, which is on the tackle, is closed up. So he's got to use his lateral ability and take it outside. The pursuit of Duquesne comes up and stops him. Nice job by Duquesne of stringing it out. That's what you want your defense to do, is string out the play, allow the pursuit to catch up, and make the tackle. Outstanding job by Duquesne having good pursuit.
Now Duquesne has to make the big defensive play. St. John's 3rd down and 6. Duquesne could get good field position if they can hold him here. Passes over the middle, though. Anitra has it, and with it, the 1st down as again Levine clicks for the big pass. Ken Smith, the linebacker, had to come up and make this tackle. Smith on the year leads these Dukes in tackles with 86 going in. But St. John's will move the chains out across the 15 up to about the 19-yard line, but they'll go 1st and 10.
And as you look at the replay, they had the defense spread. Anitra comes underneath, realizes where the 1st down marker is, dives forward, and picks it up. Nice effort by Anitra, and really good job by picking up a 3rd down situation.
Now St. John's going with 3 wide receivers. The slot's on the right side, but they go right back up the middle on a quick play with the halfback, Creighton, going in a trap play up the middle. That's a play St. John's likes to run. The trap, Ken Smith made the stop for the Dukes.
But the trap only works if you can get that out, that end guy, the guard, pulling to make a key block. He wasn't able to get the key block and got a short yardage gain for Creighton.
So it's 2nd down and 7 now for St. John's as they have the ball up on their 24-yard line. Levine's going to throw it. Completes the pass. Hits O'Leary, who comes up just short of the 40-yard line. John O'Leary with his 4th reception of the year. The tackle made by Paul Duffy, the linebacker, 5'10", 215 junior from Pittsburgh.
As you look at the replay, it's a straight drop back by Levine. Really shows his poise, and I thought that was an outstanding job of O'Leary. The play action just kind of delayed the linebackers. It allowed O'Leary to find an open spot in the zone, stops right there, and Levine puts the ball on the money, 1st down. And this will be an outstanding drive for St. John's because they were pinned deep in their own territory.
Levine just picking apart the Dukes with 10 of 14 for 118 yards passing with that play action. He gets pressure this time, but still completes the pass to Anitra. Out across midfield goes Anitra. He'll get the 1st down at the Dukes' 49-yard line, and St. John's on the move, up 14-0 with 9:15 to go in the 1st half. Mark Rayo came in, got the pressure on Levine. But I'll tell you, there's the poise we talked about, the freshman quarterback for St. John's. Even though he was pressured then, Billy, he made a fine throw.
Outstanding job because he realized he was going to take the hit before he threw the ball. He showed poise and a lot of confidence. Hit Anitra. Anitra knew where the 1st down is. And maybe Anitra heard Kevin talking about him, so he realized he can't show any pain. You know, as a running back or a football player, you don't want to show pain, Ed.
He'll never prove that he's hurt to Duquesne. He's hurting Duquesne right now. Here's Creighton on a draw. Not much there. Creighton trying to skip and skid his way by people, but the defense that time reacted well. Paul Duffy and the nose guard, Mike Orsi. Now, Orsi is considered the best defensive lineman on the Duquesne team at 5'11", 260, a junior out of Pittsburgh. So there's no gain in the play, makes it 2nd and 10.
Well, see, Duquesne's defense, you can see they're getting a little tired because they've been on the field a long, long time. This drive started way back around the 10-yard line somewhere, and when your defense is on the field that long, they've got to be tired, and as the game goes on, they'll be worn down if the offense doesn't get some consistency.
That's been a problem for Duquesne in recent games, having their defense on the field too long, as Levine with a deep drop hits the man over the middle. It's Tom Goudis who takes it inside the 35. He is dropped by Mike Civitello, the 6'1", 170 senior from Middletown, Connecticut, but not before St. John's has another first down.
If you look at the replay, it's a straight 7-step drop. He goes back. Goudis was able to come down, run a long in pattern, and really Levine puts the ball on the money exactly where he should and shows good hands. Another first down, St. John's to continue the drive.
St. John's picks up 18 on that play. Remember, this is a drive, Bill, that started deep in their own territory. The Red Storm started back at their 10-yard line. And they're controlling the ball and controlling the clock in this game as they go 1st and 10 in Duquesne territory. Here is Creighton. No room that time. Good penetration by the Duquesne defense as they shed the blockers. And Orsi got rid of the blockers, the nose guard. Joe Neckerman, the linebacker, came up to make the stop. The third-year starter, who all 3 years has been ranked among the top tacklers for Duquesne.
It's almost as if Duquesne realizes they can stop the run. The passing lanes are wide open for St. John's. It seems like you're just running the ball just to keep them honest right now. But I think the passing lanes are wide open anytime St. John's needs something because the offensive line is protecting Levine very well.
So St. John's goes 2nd and 12. And Levine will bombs away. Has a man deep but overthrows McPherson. McPherson had cleared the defensive back, but the pass was too much to his right, over the right shoulder. Couldn't catch up to it. Was out of bounds. But McPherson clearly had beaten Mario Mans that time. Mans, who was 5'7", McPherson 5'9", so those were two diminutive people working on each other.
And Ed, even though it was an incompletion, what it does, it stretches the defense. It makes them play the entire field so that you can throw things underneath. Levine is really showing a nice arm for a guy that's a freshman, plus he's showing some tremendous poise, and Duquesne on defense is getting tired, Ed.
Watch him coming back over the middle, Bill. That's a play that's worked well. They threw it to Creighton, or the tight end coming over the middle. Levine goes over the middle. There it is to Anitra. He's inside the 25, bulls his way down, but he's short of the first down. Did not get the first down. I don't believe. Close, Billy, but I think he came up perhaps short.
I think he's going to be short enough where they can either go for it or attempt a field goal because they're within 1 or 2 yards. The offensive line is really doing a good job, but Levine took a pretty good hit on that, but kept his mind oblivious to the rush, and that's hard to do as a freshman, Ed.
Brian Back, the backup defensive end, 6'2", 215 freshman, made the hit that time on Levine. So St. John's with a 14-point lead. You're watching MAC football.
When the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference basketball season revs into high gear this winter, all eyes will be on the prize in Albany as the Marine Midland MAC Championship Tournament returns to Knickerbocker Arena March 3rd through the 6th. Make your plans and purchase your tickets now for 4 exciting days of March Madness as the MAC men and women fight for the conference crown and a trip to the NCAA tournament. For tournament information, call 518-487-2000. The Marine Midland MAC basketball tournament returns to Albany, New York, March 3rd through the 6th.
Here come those hippies again.
Test 1, 2, Jack.
Is that you, Sunflower?
The place hasn't changed in 25 years.
Yeah, it's a shame. You know, they should have put in some condos by now.
Joe, remember when we did this 25 years ago?
Country Joe McDonald.
No.
Wouldn't it be nice if your youth was as easy to hold on to as an ice cold Pepsi?
You think they'll go skinny dipping again? I hope not.
At Premier Car Rental, we specialize in replacing your stolen or damaged car. We offer free delivery of your rental car wherever you need it, home office or repair shop, and we'll pick it up too. Our courteous customer service professionals will provide you with friendly, hassle-free service and have you on the road in minutes. Premier Car Rental offers 95 and 94 models, compact to full-size, and minivans too, with rates starting as low as $24.99 a day. Ask about our weekly and weekend special rates. To reserve your car today, call 1-800-340-RENT. And remember, Premier Service is no accident.
Still the greatest city in the world. What better place for a great university? A university with one of the leading colleges of pharmacy in the country. A top law school and nationally accredited schools of business whose programs are designed to meet the challenge of the new global economy, plus affordable tuition. Yes, the city is New York and the university is St. John's.
Back here at Red Storm Field in Queens, New York, the St. John's Red Storm are leading this game 14-0 over the Duquesne Dukes. St. John's has controlled and dominated this football game along with Billy Taylor and Kevin Christopher. This is Ed Ingalls. All right, before the Pay St. John's football game on Thanksgiving, St. John's will be hosting a 5K run on the St. John's campus. Now, registration will be at 8 a.m. The race starts at 9 o'clock. The pre-registration fee is $12. Following the race, there will be the St. John's and Pace football game beginning at 10:30. Now, for more information, call the St. John's Athletic Office at 718-990-6217. Kevin?
Yeah, I think that back is really starting to bother John Anitra. He's just stretching it out again in that timeout. And I'll tell you something, if you've watched this drive closely and kept your eye on Anitra, you've seen that it doesn't show so much when he's carrying or receiving the football, but really shows when he's trying to block somebody.
Yeah, I would think that would hurt. Here's Levine trying to sneak for the first down. I don't know whether he could get it. He tried to go off left guard, couldn't find running room there, and tried to go off left tackle and found very little running room. That time, the defensive surge of the Dukes defensive line won that battle, Billy. That's really one of the best plays the Dukes have shown on the front four today defensively.
And it shows you really how tough they are because, as we illustrated before, they were in for long periods of time on long drives. The defense was getting tired. They could have easily succumbed to the short yardage situation, but they came up big defensively, and this is a key call right here.
So the chain gang will come on as St. John's with a 14-0 lead with 6:31 to go here in the first half. If you joined us late, Red Storm came out and scored on the very first time they had the ball as Duquesne holds and will go 1st and 10 at their 21. St. John's scored on a Levine DeForte 14-yard touchdown toss, and the second Red Storm touchdown was a Creighton run of 5 yards.
And you know, Ed, right now, the offense of Duquesne has got to move the chains because their defense, as I've alluded to before, has been on the field virtually all game. Offense has got to pick up some first downs, move the chain, allow that defense to get some rest over there.
Well, the problem again for Duquesne is the fact that they are going with a tailback who is virtually their fourth-string tailback, who normally plays wide receiver Joe Rosato. He's played fairly well, though, filling in. Here he is with the football, number 21, being chased by 2 red shirts. And that's the problem, Bill, right there. Good pursuit by St. John's. Anthony Ferrero, who's very good at pursuing the run, and Carl Volpe, who normally excels as a linebacker on pass coverage, over to make the stop.
And Ed, as you look at the replay, on the point of attack, Rosato has got to realize that you have only maybe a tenth of a second to make a cut inside. Because if you run east and west, the pursuit always catches up with you. And I felt he had an opportunity at the beginning of the play, at the point of attack, to make the cut inside his tight end and possibly at least get back to the line of scrimmage. But when you lose that much yardage, it really puts your offense in a negative bind.
So with the 4-yard loss, Rosato now has 8 carries for 24 yards. The other thing, too, is they've been running that play an awful lot, Bill. The wide sweep, and St. John's is now defensively looking to stop that play. Timeout called by Duquesne, and St. John's is with a 14-point lead over Duquesne in what has been a game where the Red Storm has controlled the game both offensively and defensively. And I think in this case, Billy, Duquesne has to try to establish a little bit of an inside running game, something there to show that they can do a little bit up to the middle. All right, MAC football is brought to you in part by the people of First Fidelity Bank. In the communities where we work and live, we've learned that banking is all about one thing, commitment. First Fidelity is a proud sponsor of the MAC Football League. You're watching MAC Football.
Siena College, founded in 1937, is a coeducational, independent liberal arts college with a Franciscan tradition. Situated in the attractive residential community of Londonville, New York, Siena has an ideal location just minutes from New York State's capital region of Albany. The internal growth and development of Siena has been continuous. Siena's curriculum allows flexibility and individual choice for all undergraduates. Siena participates in 17 NCAA Division I sports and is a member of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
We're back here at Red Storm Field, St. John's and Duquesne, on an ideal day for football. Along with Billy Taylor and Kevin Christopher, this is Ed Ingalls. And Bill, we're talking about the need for maybe Duquesne to show a little something different here rather than the wide sweep of the pass.
Yeah, I think that St. John's has that down. They've got to run between the tackles to keep them honest.
So it's 2nd down and 14 now to go for Duquesne, backed up deep in their own territory inside their 20. That's a draw play. Well, that's the play we wanted to see, Bill, a draw play, but that didn't work either. St. John's diagnosed that, and knocked down Rosato, the tailback. He ran right into Steve Dombrowski and Chris Carew. Dombrowski is 223, a junior from Belmore. Carew's 208 from Franklin Square, both on Long Island.
And those kind of plays allow the running back to lose a little bit of heart, because after a while, he probably figures there's probably going to be no place to go anyway. Maybe I should try to be a little more creative. But I think that what's happening now is the defensive line of St. John's is totally controlling the line of scrimmage, and really the Duquesne offensive line is having troubles right now.
Now remember, Rosato is only 5'10", weighs 165 pounds, a freshman who plays wide receiver normally, and you wonder how much of a beating he can take in a position he normally doesn't play, tailback. As the whistle. May have been a delay of game. Too much time on that one, Bill, as Duquesne certainly faltering offensively, struggling. Finally, will go against the Dukes, back them up even more. A 5-yard taxation will leave them with a 3rd down and 19 situation back in their own 12-yard line. And it doesn't get any worse than that when you're an offensive team backed up deep in your own territory with a long 3rd down situation. Duquesne, Brian Staines, their quarterback, has, as we said, completed 50% of his passes this year, and he'll certainly be looking to throw here as they come out of the shotgun formation this time, Duquesne. Pressure, he gets pressure. Throws it away. Good pressure that time. Chris Carew came. The middle linebacker, Walter DeForest, came. They were all over Staines. And the pass was intended for Mark Neely, but Neely would have had to be about 8 times as tall to catch that one. Staines now 2 of 8 for 33 yards passing. Has had 1 picked off. And as this game progresses, Bill, the Duquesne offense sputters even more.
That was a stellar effort by Brian Staines, because what he did, he had to kind of get rid of the ball when there was nothing there, because then you come back and give your punter a lot of room to run. So I thought it was a very fabulous effort by Brian Staines.
Well, Staines is a very poised quarterback, a very patient quarterback. He holds the passing yardage record for one season for Duquesne. Did that last year. Bad snap, but Nelson gets it away. A line drive kick, O'Leary at midfield.
He's got a wall, though, Ed.
On the right side. Runs into a whole host of tacklers, though, after a 37-yard kick. O'Leary brings it back, though, nicely for about a 13-yard return on the play. And so St. John's has excellent field position. St. John's, in a battle of field position this game, has had much better field position than Duquesne.
And as you look at the replay, he had room to run as soon as he got the ball. If he hadn't have slipped, I thought he made it to the wall a little bit sooner, but outstanding job of Duquesne by giving great pursuit. And now St. John's has outstanding field position. It's really up to them to get something going.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from the Duquesne 37. They put McPherson as a wide receiver to the bottom of the screen. They put Hatwood, the screever, up at the top of the screen, and they give it off to Anitra, who finds running room. Nitra's got the 1st down. He goes down the 21-yard line. A fine run. Paul Duffy finally hauled him down, but that was a play which surprised the Duquesne defense, and wide receiver Tom McPherson came over to make a key block on that play to help Anitra pick up big yardage to the 22-yard line.
As you look at Anitra, he really has a counter play with the fullback. He's able to cut off the nose guard, makes a 180 spin, really shows his athleticism for a guy being 220, and picks up a good 1st down, and really doesn't show you any impact of being hurt. But maybe like some running backs, he plays better when he's hurt.
You know about that, Billy Taylor. You played your share hurt as a running back after a 15-yard pickup. It's bomb time for Hatwood, but incomplete. Good coverage that time by Duquesne, but still Hatwood, who has so much speed, was breaking clear. Down, Damon Barry, the strong safety, was with him, along with Bob Nithman, the nickelback.
I was watching Anitra on the play. He looks like he's a little bit hurt. He had to go down to one knee. Kevin Christopher probably is going to talk about that. He's going to come out the game now, but he's a tough competitor. I don't like to play hurt. That's why I like playing golf better, Ed.
I understand you get hurt more playing golf, Billy. Is that true? That
and
your
even
golf
in
game
tennis,
is more
too.
dangerous?
Yes, and pinochle and mud fighting also.
All right, but we'll find something for you later, my friend. That mud fight will get you every time. 2nd and 10 as they go right up the middle for running yardage. That time, again, good blocking up front. Got Jermaine Creighton loose. He gets inside the 15-yard line. Did not pick up probably just shy of the 1st down, where Ken Smith, the best linebacker for Duquesne, makes a stop. So it brings up a 3rd down and 1 situation for St. John's with 3:19 and the clock running. Red Storm leading the Dukes of Duquesne 14-0, and St. John's knocking at the door again, looking for another touchdown. With Anitra out of the game, they go with a single running back, but they put 3 wide receivers. The slot is on the right. Wants to come left, incomplete. Throwing for McPherson, but I think that time the defense of Duquesne realized that's where he wanted to throw the ball because he had 3 men out there covering in the flat on McPherson.
Well, it looked like they had the wrong reads as they try to attempt a field goal in this situation. It seems like he had the option to either stop or take it, what they call up the field, and I think Levine and him were not on the same page. Sometimes that happens when you have a young quarterback, and I thought they did a good job of just throwing the ball away. Now they can come back and attempt the field goal.
So John Ledwith will kick one from 31 yards away. It'll be a left-to-right kick. He's 7 of 13 on the year in field goal tries. His longest this year, 42 yards, so this certainly is in the range of his leg. He hammers it. It is good. A nice kick by Ledwith. All that, if he had it all the way, he could have boomed that one in from 45 yards out. So John Ledwith's field goal of 31 yards gives St. John's a 17-0 lead, Billy Taylor.
And I like the replay. I mean, on the replay, you see that really there was no penetration at all. Outstanding blocking up front and was able to put the ball. That probably could have gone another 20 yards there. He's got a good foot.
Well, last year, St. John's went into Duquesne, and a game which figured to be somewhat competitive. The Red Storm ran all over the Dukes of Duquesne, beating them 37-12. And both coaches had said when we talked to Bob Rick of St. John's and Greg Gattuso of Duquesne that they expected a closer game this time. And coaches will say that most times anyway, but they both seriously felt it would be closer because the feeling is Duquesne has now have some experience on their ball club, and the team had enough weapons to hurt St. John's. But I really think the fact that Duquesne lost Todd Killian, their number 1 running back, blew out a knee in the Marist game midway through the season after gaining more than 400 yards rushing in 5 games. He was gone. Now they go to Bill Green. He steps in. He's doing a pretty good job averaging a shade more than 4 yards a carry. He has not played today because of a sore ankle. The third tailback, Byron Cornell, the freshman, was supposed to step in. Cornell is an exciting kind of running back. They felt that he could get some things done, but he came into Queens today with a temperature, has a case of the flu. He did not dress, so that really put a monkey wrench into the offensive plans of the Duquesne Dukes.
Absolutely, and I think the thing that concerns you as a coach is that you can't make the decisions of who's going to start until the game starts. When someone has the flu, that's a negative situation for you anyway, and I think Duquesne would probably be a better performance if they had their 2 starting running backs.
Yeah, you have to change your game plan. Here is Rossetti on the fly. Rosato gets the catch, gets out across the 25-yard line, and so on all the kickoffs, the 4 of them, Joe Rosato has brought it back. And Rosato's the man they want to bring it back because he is number 1, I should say number 1, the MAC, 9th in the nation in kickoff returns, averaging about 30 yards a game. So he's been able to get the ball in Rosato's hands today, which is something Greg Gattuso told me. He said, I want to get the ball in Rosato's hands. Well, probably he's gotten the ball in Rosato's hands more than he really would like at this point.
And if he gets it too much, Rosato's going to hold up his hand and come out of that game. Because
he, as we said, is only 5'10", 165, a freshman. Dukes go 1st and 10 at their own 32. Staines on the long count. Here's Rosato again. Nice cut as he goes out across the 35-yard line. The ball, though, is on the floor after Walter DeFrost came in to make the stop. Duquesne, though, retains possession as a nice run then by Rosato.
And as you look at the replay, Ed, Rosato, this time he runs the play perfectly. He takes it to the outside, makes a nice cut up the middle, and gets positive yardage, gets his shoulders north and south. He's got to hang on to the bread because that's the money for everybody, Ed.
Well, they ruled his knee was down, and he fumbled after he hit the ground. So it's a gain, a nice pickup there for Duquesne of 9 yards, makes it 2nd and 1 as they try to move downfield with 2:10 to go here in the first half. Tim Gribble is the up back. Joe Rosato with the tailback, and this is Brian Staines. Going with the bomb, has a man open, almost a spectacular catch. It was intended for Rosato, who went diving for the ball, had it in his hands just for a split second, but could not hang on to what would have been an amazing catch. Richard Rodriguez was over there covering on that play.
Now, as you look at the replay, it's a straight 7-step drop by Brian Staines. I like that on 2nd and short, and really a stupendous effort by the wide receiver. Rosato almost had it in his hands, and that's the kind of effort you like to see out of these kids. Nice job. Now they come back with 3rd and 1. They should be able to pick it up.
Boy, if he made that, that's one for the highlight reel as they attacked Rodriguez, the freshman cornerback at St. John's, where we expected to see Duquesne throw the ball in this game. This is a trip up in the backfield. A nice defensive play. Did not get the first down. Rosato trying to carry that time. Brother, check it. Eric Mazanik, number 28. The freshman tailback is tripped up by Ray Lambright, who's a stalwart on the St. John's defensive line. Threw him for a loss on the play. Back at the 34-yard line. Lambright, 6'2", 266, a senior out of Flushing, New York.
And Ed, I talked about it basically all year long. The thing that hurts the running plays is when the defense gets penetration on the offensive line, it disallows him a place to go. And I thought that was an outstanding job by Lambright. That took away a key 3rd down and 1. Now they've got to punt because they lose 3 yards.
Whenever a running back cannot get his shoulders squared to the line of scrimmage, he's in trouble.
Exactly.
Nelson kicking on 4th down. O'Leary waits for it. Nice punt by Nelson. O'Leary will field it at the 31-yard line with a fair catch. A smart decision by O'Leary. You're up by 17 points. You have 65 seconds to go in the first half. Why not play it conservatively? A 35-yard punt then, Bill.
You know, I thought that was kind of a weird fair catch because you did not give the defense a chance to see what was going on. I thought a flag should have been, because if I was coming down there covering a punt and I didn't see the clarity of the fair catch signal, I'd try to get me a highlight film by drilling him myself. But, you know, being an ex-running back, I don't hit too many people.
No, you don't. I noticed that, Bill. I thought he was waving hello, Mom, O'Leary on that one.
I thought he may try to sneak a hi to his girlfriend or something.
First down and 10 for St. John's at the 32. Is that illegal? You get 5 yards for that, I think.
But the coach doesn't know your signals, you know.
So St. John's with 1:05 to go here in the first half and a 17-point lead. Will they run out the clock or will they look for more? There goes the full halfback Creighton picking up some yardage. Jermaine Creighton on a quick handoff. The dive series runs into Ken Smith, who makes a stop for Duquesne.
And I'm waiting for Kevin Christopher to give me some signals somewhere, because if they get too much of a lead, then I figure he's going to have to start looking for some creative stuff down there. We talked about this before the game. Come on, Kevin.
He's already into his second half foul now, looking through the foul cabinet, see what he can come up with. Second down for St. John's and 5. As they run out the clock with Creighton trying to make something happen, and he goes out across the 45, gets the first down, before he's stopped by Damon Barry, the 6'1", 185 senior from Pittsburgh. A 3-year starter for the Dukes, a fine tackler. Led the team in tackles in 1991, did Damon Barry.
I think it's an outstanding job of St. John's. They're just trying to keep the ball on the ground until they possibly get across the midfield strike. If they're successful here, they may try to put it up in the area.
So first down and 10 as they give it to Anitra, but he's having trouble getting those shoulders squared. But he finally does turn up a little bit, get some yardage before he runs into Joe Neckerman and Ken Smith. But that should be the last play of the first half, Bill, unless somebody calls a timeout.
St. John's did call a timeout. I figured if they got to the midfield marker, that's when at least you have to take a consideration of taking one up top to take a chance, because, you know, at least if there's an interception, it's way down in Duquesne's territory. So I think it's a good move by St. John's.
Well, Mark Levine has the arm, number 1 for St. John's, to take a shot at a deep one. Number 2, they've got somebody who certainly can get deep enough, Aaron Hatwood, who I've mentioned several times was the Big East long jump champ and is probably the fastest player in the MAC. He'll be out on the field. He's coming off at the moment, maybe just to talk to Coach Ricka. Let's see what they do. If Hatwood's out there, though, you can look for the bomb. He's on the bench right now, so maybe they won't take a shot at the deep one here, Bill. I would think Hatwood would be out there if they were going to go deep.
That would take a chance, because there's a couple things can happen. You can get a pass interference penalty. You can come up with a sensational catch. As long as Levine does not take the sack, I think it's a positive thing to put it up, because you're going down in Duquesne's territory. You're close to the midfield striker right now.
Well, the question is now, do you go deep and go for the whole enchilada, or do you go a sideline pass and try to hit a couple of those babies and get down close enough for Ledwith, who shows a strong foot to try another field goal?
But the underneath has been open just about all day, so we'll see how they do on
There's
that.
Anitra underneath. Levine has all day to throw it, and a nice catch at the 30-yard line by Tom Goodis. My, oh my, what a catch there, Bill. He was going one way, the ball was behind him, and he still caught it at the 31-yard line of Duquesne.
I thought it was great concentration, but what they did, they ran crossing patterns so that both the flanker and the wide receiver cross, and that they could kind of confuse the defense. Nice job by Godis, because I thought the ball was a little bit behind him, but he showed his great hands and good concentration by pulling it in and giving them another opportunity to go after it.
Well, they pick up 20 yards in the play, and now there's only 5 seconds left here. So the question that St. John's must decide is, do they ask Ledwith to kick a 48-yard field goal? Remember, he has kicked one this year of 47 yards, or rather 42 yards, and whether they ask him to try a field goal here or go for the touchdown pass, go on top and try to go for the 6.
Well, if you got that kind of leg, the last field goal that he kicked looked like it had a lot of room to spare. I would go ahead and give an effort, because even if you don't make it, the halftime is already there with 5 seconds left. So I would go after it, because if you go for a pass, your chances of making it are not as good as the field goal opportunity with the leg that the kicker has.
I would agree with you. It's probably the biggest decision Bob Bricker, the coach of St. John's, has had to make in this ball game. He's taking plenty of time before he decides. Talking to Greg Gattuso, the Duquesne coach, He was a big fan of Bob Ricker. He admires Ricker very much for the kind of program he has here, for the way he recruits, the way he coaches, the way he organizes. Rick, of course, the dean of MAC coaches. He's been 17 years at St. John's as a head coach. Well, Bill, they're going to go for the touchdown here as they now put 3 receivers to the right, to the top of your screen.
They're looking for a penalty, Ed. Hail Mary or something to create something. Because this is a hard situation.
Yeah, only 5 seconds to go. Here's your Hail Mary. He's got a man deep. Broken up, though. Intercepted by Mons. Let's see if he runs it out. He's along the sidelines. Mauro Mons slips and falls down shy of the 20 as it was picked off by the 5'7" cornerback. Mons with his 4th interception of the season as the first half ends. Sean Curran coming up to make the tackle for St. John's. So it's been all the Red Storm, a big storm as far as Duquesne is concerned here in the first half. And you're watching MAC football.
While Dennis Vaco put criminals behind bars, Karen Burstein voted to make it tougher to keep them there. Ultra-liberal Karen Burstein voted against mandatory sentences for armed felons and against the death penalty. And Karen Burstein even voted against making child pornography a crime. It's scary how wrong Karen Burstein is on the issues that matter most. Fortunately, we have a choice. Dennis Vaco, the tough Attorney General New York needs.
WRCN. Long Island's best rock. WRCN. Classic rock and the best new rock. 94.3 and 103.9. WRCN.
This Sharp View Cam is just too hot. It's got a hi-fi stereo and a color view screen that rotates.
You'll flip out over the color view screen that flips out on this Sony Handycam, and it even has a built-in speaker.
But the Minolta Master is an all-in-one camcorder, VCR, TV, and message center.
All right, let's go ask Joe.
When you buy a camcorder at Nobody Beats the Wiz, there really is no controversy.
Are you looking for a good used car? Picture this. A weekly newspaper with thousands of pictures and descriptions of used cars and trucks for sale right now by individuals and dealerships in your area. Well, here it is. In the greater New York and Long Island area, it's Car Buyer's Market. And in Connecticut, it's the Bargain News. You'll find the right car at the best price. No hassles, no pressure, by shopping the photo pages of Car Buyer's Market or the Bargain News. On sale every Thursday at thousands of locations wherever newspapers are sold. Snap up your copy today.
Welcome back to St. John's University, Red Storm Field, and certainly for Duquesne, it has been a Red Storm day. St. John's has dominated this game. The Red Storm averaging almost 6 yards per carry rushing, and Duquesne has averaged about 3 yards per rush. St. John's passing 14 of 22. Duquesne only 2 of 9. First downs also very reflective of this game. Billy Taylor, each team with 1 turnover has really not been a factor.
Well, when you average that many yards rushing the ball, it allows you to pick up passing situation. And look at the replay on the touchdown. Creighton gets in behind the pulling guard, cuts off his right foot, accelerates, gets into the own zone behind the guard, and goes in for 6 points. Outstanding job of the offensive line and Creighton.
Jermaine Creighton with a 5-yard touchdown run, the second TD of the day for St. John's, a 13-play, 45-yard drive. You're watching MAC football.
At Premier Car Rental, we specialize in replacing your stolen or damaged car. We offer free delivery of your rental car wherever you need it, home office or repair shop, and we'll pick it up too. Our courteous customer service professionals will provide you with friendly, hassle-free service and have you on the road in minutes. Premier Car Rental offers 95 and 94 models, compact to full-size, and minivans too, with rates starting as low as $24.99 a day. Ask about our weekly and weekend special rates. To reserve your car today, call 1-800-340-RENT. And remember, Premier Service is no accident.
Major League Baseball Home Video proudly presents The National Pastime, a 5-volume set that celebrates baseball's majesty and magic. The first 2 volumes, The Official History of Baseball, touch every base in the game's 125-year legacy. This 5.5-hour collection also features the captivating excitement of baseball's most unforgettable pennant races, plus the 50 greatest home runs in baseball history. From the myth makers to the record breakers. From the remarkable to the improbable. And the final volume highlights the drama of baseball's greatest championship series. Glorious baseball memories, plus this free book, 125 Years of Professional Baseball. If it happened between the white lines, it's in this action-packed collection. The national pastime is now available where videos are sold.
My guest is Brian Colery. He's the athletic director at Duquesne University, and he goes back a long way with some of these MAC Football League teams, former coach at Iona, some athletic director duties up there at Marist College. Brian, what is your take on this new league, this MAC Football League that's still in that gestation period, still in its infancy, and of course, for your school, just your first year in the conference?
Well, I think it's been tremendously received. Even, last year when we weren't in the league, but we were going to be in the league, I followed it very closely, and I think that Rich Enzer, the commissioner, and the people at the MAC office have done a great job of putting together a great 1AA football conference that really has although the schools are similar in philosophies and in a lot of different ways, it's a great experience for the kids. Our kids on national television on Monday night and coming to New York, kids from West Pennsylvania. This is a real experience for them, educationally and socially.
Now, you've been around a lot of these football teams a long time. Do you think that knowing that they've got a league to play in now kind of has a tendency to accelerate their competitiveness in these games?
Well, without a doubt. I think that was one of the big things missing when this 1AA concept came about, is there was no meaning to it. It was a week-to-week thing,
Sure.
almost like an independent now in the days of the super conferences. Independence, and Notre Dame proves it even in basketball going into the Big East, but in the day of independence, there was no rhyme or reason to the next game. And this, is a big, big game for St. John's, and it was not as big a game for our kids, and I think because of a lot of different reasons, the travel, the Monday night, the short week, and some injuries to our team, we haven't been at the top of our game. Not to take anything away from St. John's, because I think Bob Ricca has them prepared very well, and it means a lot to him. And I think that the whole idea of all conference and player of the week and different concepts like that, and a rhyme or reason to your season, and other schools to follow to see who's going to win and who's going to lose, really makes a lot of sense for the kids. And I think the philosophy of the league, the student-athlete concept is the way to go.
To the specifics of this second half coming up, you are Greg Gattuso in the locker room. What do you do to pump up a football team that is very thin at tailback and could only produce 71 yards of total offense in the first half?
Well, I think Greg has to go with the concept that we're not going to be able to move the ball on the ground. We're missing 3 tailbacks, and we're not in that position. I think he's got to take a thing that we're going to throw the ball just about every play and hope to get a big play offensively, big play defensively, get back in the game, and hope for the best.
All right, Brian, thank you very much for your time. That's Brian Colery, the athletic director at Duquesne University. We'll be back with more after this.
Cy Sperling, president of Hair Club for Men.
Although I was Hair Club's first client, I had my hair done for personal reasons prior to going into this business. At 27, I was overweight, my hair was thinning. I used to sweep the hair on top of my head, spray it. I'd have nightmares about windy days, going swimming. My new hair made a world of difference. Whether it's wet, I'm just blow drying, or just running my fingers through my hair. It feels like my hair.
If your hair is thinning, call our toll-free number now. We'll send you our 16-page color brochure free.
Some of the toughest times in recent history, 2 recessions, AIDS, crack, violence, have taught me what we need for the future. And that's a high-tech economy, continued building of our infrastructure, a jobs-first approach to welfare, tough but smart law enforcement, fairness and hope for our children and the rest of us. Now the recession is behind us, and we're moving forward with all of this. I'm asking for one more term to finish the job. Please vote for me on November 8th.
Dial-A mattress, fast and convenient.
It was very quick, easy. I put it on my charge card, so they just took my card from me, did all the transactions in my kitchen, and they were gone. So it was very, very easy.
Get low warehouse prices on Sealy Posturepedic, Serta Perfect Sleeper, and Simmons Beauty Rest. 1-800-Mattress. Fast, easy, and a commitment to customer satisfaction nationwide 24 hours a day. 1-800-MATTRES.
Leave off the last cents for saving. The price was about half.
Discounts for the best care a pet can get. I'm Neil Padron, president, with savings on beautiful home aquariums from Tetra.
Welcome to Tetra's wonderful world of tropical fish, featuring quality aquarium products like Whisper Power filters and air pumps, and Tetramin fish food, the leading products you and your fish can trust.
Tetra's wonderful world of tropical fish, available at Petland Discounts.
Folks, as you know, each week we take a time out as and the MAC Conference honors their Scholar Athlete of the Week. Today we honor Aaron Hatwood of St. John's as the Pepsi MAC Scholar Athlete of the Week. Hatwood, a 6'1", 195 graduate student from Half Hollow Hills West High School right here in Jamaica, New York, is currently second in the nation in kickoff returns with a gaudy 36.8 average. A two-sport athlete, he's a former Metropolitan champion in the 100 and 200-meter dashes and the long jump. He excels in the classroom as well, earning a 3.3 grade point average while majoring in business. Congratulations to Aaron Hatwood of St. John's, and we will be back with the second half kickoff right after this.
Here comes
in which St. John's will get the second half kickoff. And St. John's dominating this game at the line of scrimmage, Billy. That's been really the story of this game. On both sides of the ball, St. John's has just been too strong for Duquesne.
Yes, it has, and I agree with you totally, Ed, because the offensive line and the defensive lines of St. John's has limited what Duquesne can do. They cannot run inside. They cannot run outside. The only thing they can do is pass. They're down by 17 points. The defense right now has got to stop St. John's, keep the momentum over to Duquesne, and then put something up offensively. Offensively, they have not been able to do anything except for that first series of the game, Ed, when they were able to exploit the middle, and they've got to make some adjustments at the half, so we'll try to keep abreast of what's going on in the second half.
And, of course, Duquesne limited with the adjustments they can make because they have lost their first three tailbacks on the depth chart from early on this season. They're now going with a converted wide receiver as a tailback. St. John's will get the ball off Chris Bergman's kickoff. For the Red Storm, they have Aaron Hatwood to the near sidelines and Kevin Delaney to the far sidelines.
And I believe the first 5 minutes is very, very important for both teams to establish what they're going to do. St. John's has got to keep their momentum as the ball goes out of bounds on the kickoff.
Yep, inside the 10-yard line as Aaron Hatwood went chasing it down for St. John's. I would agree with that, Billy. It's very important. I think, especially for Duquesne, they have to do two things here. They have to prove they can stop St. John's offensively. Not let St. John's control the ball. Time of possession the first half was very lopsided. St. John's had the ball almost 19 minutes the first half. And number two, Duquesne gets the ball. They've got to find a way to get a big play. It's going to be very difficult for Duquesne to take the ball and drive long distances on the St. John's defense. They've got to hit some big plays. So with that out-of-bounds kickoff, the Red Storm gets the ball at their 35. They go 1st and 10 with good field position. Mark Levine, number 11, the freshman quarterback from Long Island, who had the very spectacular first half. I thought throwing the ball also off play action is again the quarterback for St. John's. Right away, the Red Storm comes out in a 3-wide receiver set. The lone running back is Jerome Creighton. And that time, Creighton didn't get any room to run as the Duquesne defense made a good surge. So Duquesne comes out to start the second half with a little confidence builder here as Mark Rail makes a stop along with Ed Monroe.
I thought Mike Orsi, the nose guard, number 66 for Duquesne, did an outstanding job of controlling the middle. Now, if you can control the middle, you're going to force St. John's to do other things, and Duquesne needs this type of effort in the second half.
St. John's going with a one-back offense, probably because Anitra, number 34, is not in there, has that sore kidney, and they may stay with the one-back offense. Pass over the middle, intercepted. Let's see what they rule it. Yep, they call the interception. Mario Mons with his second interception of the day, his 5th interception of the season, as the pass was intended for Tom McPherson. So Duquesne forces a second turnover in this game. They give themselves good field position here, Bill.
And as you look at the replay, he tried to throw it in the hole that was not there. It was a badly thrown ball. Maybe he's been watching Dave Brown of the Giants.
Not too closely, I hope.
He threw an interception. But I thought this is exactly what Duquesne needed, Ed, because they needed their defense to come on and stop St. John's, give the offense ball, the back in good field position. Now they're done. They're doing it. Duquesne has the ball at 1st and 10 in St. John's territory, and this is exactly what they need to get back in this game as there's an injury on the field. Ed.
The injured player is for Duquesne. It's Craig Agulia, Number 79, the nose guard, who injured a leg, being helped off now. Duquesne takes over 1st and 10 at the St. John's 48-yard line. So the Dukes trying to get something going here, down by 17 points. They will probably go with Brian Staines again as the quarterback. He is the veteran quarterback. Let's see if they trot out in the field who they go with. They're going to make a change at quarterback. They're going to go with the freshman, Dave Loya. L-O-Y-A. Comes in at quarterback. 6'3", 190, the freshman. Has completed 47% of his passes this season. He has thrown 97 times, so he's seen quite a bit of action at quarterback for Duquesne as they make a change at the QB position. Comes out throwing, and the pass is tipped and intercepted by St. John's as Kurt Ditzler with a very nice timing, diving catch. I thought that was an excellent play because so often a defensive back doesn't have the real good hands to make that kind of play, Billy. But Ditzler certainly showed the soft hands as we have an exchange of turnovers on 2 plays, 2 interceptions.
This is exactly what Duquesne did not need. I think Dave Loya, as you look at the replay, it was a deep post pattern. He came back, a 7-step drop, put the ball on the money. It was a little bit high, but it was in the receiver's hands. He was able to touch it with both hands, and I think that was definitely Joe Daniels' fault, and you do not need that.
So St. John's goes 1st and 10 from the 28, and Anitra is back in at fullback now. It's Creighton trying to hurdle people. Stops short of the 30-yard line. A good surge by Ken Smith, the best linebacker on this Duquesne club. Very quick, has a lot of quickness, reads the plays well, and leads his team in tackles, comes up to make the stop.
And that Duquesne defense did an outstanding job on Creighton that time. And my only advice to Creighton is do not leave your feet like that, because that's, again, how you can get drilled by the defense, because your balance is not there, and anytime you leave your feet, it's a negative situation for a running back.
Very good advice from a man who spent 7 years as a running back in the National Football League, Billy Taylor. Gain of 2 on the last play, brings up 2nd and 8. The pitch is to Creighton. He bobbles the ball. However, St. John's will recover. I believe Anitra falling on it. Good penetration again by the Dukes defense as John Wojciechowski, 6'0", 225 junior from Pittsburgh, was in pressuring the ball.
As you look at the replay, I thought that Creighton just took his eyes off the ball, and the reason he took his eyes off the ball because there was penetration by the defense. He looked down at the defense and didn't look the ball in. His first responsibility is the ball, Ed. After that, then you use your own athleticism.
So certainly the Duquesne defense coming out with their best showing of the day here on the first 2 times the Red Storm has had the ball. It is 3rd and 13 for St. John's. 3 wide receivers. Levine with a deep drop. Over the middle as a man running free. It's caught at the 42-yard line. That will be enough for the first down. A nice catch by Aaron Hatward. Number 23, the senior out of Jamaica, Queens.
As you look at the replay, it was a straight drop back. Hatwood did an in cut over the middle. Levine had time to throw. His offensive line's got to give it credit. Put the ball on the money and was able to pick up first down. And way to go down and get it by Hatwood. Nice job of going down to get that ball. And that was a 3rd and long. A good football team picks up situations like that. Good job by the Red Storm.
A 17-yard reception on 3rd and 13, and now it's St. John's moving the football out near midfield. This is Creighton trying to find a hole. He does. Breaks a tackler down the far sidelines and run out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. It was Mike Civitello, number 27, 6'1", the senior from Middletown, Connecticut, who finally forced him out. But a fine run by Creighton and Billy.
As you look at the replay, he's able to get outside. When a running back gets outside and turns his speed up, this is when Creighton is at his best. He's one-on-one with the outside backer, gives him a little leg, takes it away, shows his speed in the sideline, and that's what Duquesne has been trying all day, to not let Creighton get to the sidelines, because when he gets there, he's dangerous, Ed.
So Creighton now has carried 18 times for 71 yards after that 22-yard pickup. Gives the Red Storm a first down inside the 40 of Duquesne. They go to O'Leary on a little hitch pass, and he gets inside the 35, but Joe Nickerman was there to make the stop. And St. John's picks up about 2 on the play.
And the thing about the hitch pass, it's there to set up another play, Ed. So we're going to have to see what they have attached to that play, because when the defensive back comes up, that's how you go behind him and get those big plays, Ed.
Well, remember, St. John's had success going over the middle on getting Anitra, the fullback, or Creighton, the tailback, over the middle open on passes in the first half as they go 2nd and 8 inside the Duquesne 40. This is the fullback, Anitra, bobbling the ball, losing it, is picked up by Duquesne. Running ball is Ken Smith. Smith is across midfield. He's got 2 men to beat. He's inside the 40 and finally run out of bounds. So St. John's, the team that leads the nation in turnover ratio with a plus 14 going into the game. They've been very good at this. Turned the ball over twice here in the 3rd quarter. Jermaine Creighton had to make the tackle on Ken Smith. who picked up the loose ball and gives Duquesne excellent field position.
It was a trap play by St. John's. Anitra comes in there, makes a lot of people miss, didn't have the ball tucked away, and really that's a lack of concentration by Anitra, maybe because the injury situation didn't allow him to tuck the ball away firmly like he should. So it's a good time for Duquesne to do something. They got the ball in plus territory, Ed.
Third turnover in the third quarter of this game, fifth turnover overall. In St. John's territory, Duquesne goes first and 10. Passes over the middle. It is complete as that time Loya, the freshman, hits the receiver over the middle. Ken Forte makes the catch, but there's a whistle on the play, and we'll come back.
Well, that was Joe Rosato on the play.
Incomplete.
He reached up nice, caught the ball in his hands, but I think he took a look at the safety, which allowed him to lose his concentration, and the ball popped out. But I thought it was a nice pass by Dave Loya, the young quarterback.
He's 6'3", 190, the freshman from North Forsyth, Pennsylvania. He started the game against Iona, gave way in the second half to Brian Staines. In this game, Staines went the first half. Loya has come on to run the team in the second half now. 2nd and 10 for Duquesne. As I said, Matt Stark in motion to the right. Trying to get outside the left end, but not much running room, is Eric Manzik, number 28, 5'10", the 185 freshman, carries the ball until he runs into Walter DeForest, makes a stop.
As you look at the replay, they're going on a straight dive pattern. It's supposed to go off tackle, but he takes a little bit outside, allows the pursuit of St. John's to catch up with him. Nice job by DeForest, who's one of the better linebackers in the league.
So Eric Mazanik picks up 3 yards on the play and brings up a 3rd and 7 for Duquesne at the St. John's 31. We have 10:57 to go in the third quarter, with the Red Storm up by 17 points. They have a slot to the right side, to the top of your screen. They send Rosato in motion to the left. Loya's going to throw out here, and he completes it to Rosato. Can he get the first down? No! A diving tackle drives him back. Good defensive play by the Red Storm that time by the strong safety, Stefan Demikas. Number 17, he's 6'2", 202, a sophomore, very physical. He's very good against the sweeps, and that time he was very good on pass defense.
As you look at the replay, it was a play action that was designed to fool the linebackers. They crisscrossed the guards. He does a simple a little touch pass, and I think that he's got to be able to cut up and go north and south. When he hesitates here is when he gets drilled, and when you hesitate and you're not sure what you're going to do, that's how you take those kind of licks, Ed.
St. John's top defensive lineman, Ray Lambright, the big defensive tackle, has come out of the ball game, had his bell rung on that last play, brings up a 4th down and 5 situation for Duquesne inside the St. John's 30. Passes again to Rosato as he gets the first down. He takes it just shy of the 20-yard line. Nice run by Rosato after he caught the ball. And making the tackle was Anthony Ferrara.
And you see the difference in that, Ed. That time when he caught the ball, as you watch on the replay, it's another underneath pattern that the quarterback throws Loya. He throws it underneath to Rosato. Rosato, as soon as he gets it, watch him cut upfield to get the first down going north and south. That's why you don't take the licks, because your body is going north and south. Nice job picking up the first down by Rosato and Loya.
An 11-yard pickup on the play makes it 1st and 10 for Duquesne at the St. John's 21-yard line. Duke's finally mounting a threat here. The tailback trying to get some yardage is Mazanik. He runs right into Walter DeForest, the middle linebacker, a 5th-year senior for St. John's. He is their biggest player on that linebacker corps. His first-team All-MAC last year was Walter DeForest.
Now look at this replay. It's a delayed draw. Walter DeForest does not get caught up in it all. Takes a big lick, and that's what linebackers love, is to hit the running back in the hole when he has no protection. That's the kind of stuff that made me retire from football, Ed.
Make me too, Billy. Only a lot quicker than you. A gain of 2. They list Mazanik at 5'10", the tailback. He looks smaller than that. On a 2nd down and 8 inside the St. John's 20. Loya comes left for the pass. Trying to go to the corner. Has a man open. And they rule it out of bounds. Mark Neely caught the ball. They ruled it out of bounds. It's being guarded by Ken Forte. And the official was right there, hesitated, then made the call out of bounds on Mark Neely, the sophomore.
Ed, that was not a good call. I saw the feet in bounds.
All you have to do is have 1 foot in bounds in college football. Remember that.
And as you look at the replay, I hope that Billy Taylor is right, but I saw 1 foot come down in bounds. Maybe we should get a replay or something like that. You watch that. That's a touchdown.
That is a touchdown. You're right, Bill.
And I saw it before the replay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hey, Billy, you know you're always right. When you're in this booth, you're right, Billy. Not about the rest of your life, but we try to take care of you. You know, we back you, Billy. We're on your side.
Up here. That's
Third down and long for Dukes. Loya, little shovel pass over the middle, inside the 15, comes up just shy of the first down. Joe Daniels caught the ball going up the middle on the old Utah pass play. That's what they used to call that many years ago. Richard Rodriguez, the cornerback, came over to make the stop.
As you look at the replay, this is creative football. I like this. It's a straight drop back, and really he just shuffles the ball underneath, and really just he's really what they call a shuffle pass, comes underneath, picks up valuable yardage, and that's the kind of offense that Duquesne has got to do. This is their best drive of the game. This is the furthest down that they've got down. This is fourth down. They're close to first down. Do you go for a field goal that puts you within 2 touchdowns, Ed, or do you go for the first down to try to continue the drive?
I go for the touchdown at 4th and 1 simply because you're inside what they like to call the red zone. You're down inside the 15-yard line. You may get 2 other opportunities, but maybe not as good as this. And one of them, you could go for a field goal when you're out the 20-yard line.
You're exactly right.
I think this is too good an opportunity to pass on it, especially this is a short 1 yard, too, Bill, in 4th and 1. But, of course, we don't coach Duquesne, do we?
Well, it's good to
except up here.
And it's good to second guess up here. But what I would do is they have the 2 receivers crossing a lot the whole game. I think you can throw in front of St. John's. If their offensive line can keep out the penetration, I think they can get something underneath to pick up the first down. But this is probably the biggest call of the game for Duquesne if they want to get back in the game.
All right, you're watching MAC football.
When the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference basketball season revs into high gear this winter, all eyes will be on the prize in Albany as the Marine Midland MAC Championship Tournament returns to Knickerbocker Arena March 3rd through the 6th. Make your plans and purchase your tickets now for 4 exciting days of March Madness as the MAC men and women fight for the conference crown and a trip to the NCAA tournament. For tournament information, call 518-487-2000. The Marine Midland MAC basketball tournament returns to Albany, New York, March 3rd through the 6th.
Here come those hippies again. Test 1, 2, Jack. Is that you, Sunflower? The place hasn't changed in 25 years. Yeah, it's a shame. You know, they should have put in some condos by now.
Joe, remember when we did this 25 years ago?
Country Joe McDonald.
No. Wouldn't it be nice if your youth was as easy to hold on to as an ice cold Pepsi?
Think they'll go skinny dipping again? I hope not.
At Premier Car Rental, we specialize in replacing your stolen or damaged car. We offer free delivery of your rental car wherever you need it, home office or repair shop, and we'll pick it up too. Our courteous customer service professionals will provide you with friendly, hassle-free service and have you on the road in minutes. Premier Car Rental offers 95 and 94 models, compact to full-size, and minivans too, with rates starting as low as $24.99 a day. Ask about our weekly and weekend special rates. To reserve your car today, call 1-800-340-RENT. And remember, Premier Service is no accident.
Still the greatest city in the world. What better place for a great university? A university with one of the leading colleges of pharmacy in the country. A top law school and nationally accredited schools of business whose programs are designed to meet the challenge of the new global economy, plus affordable tuition. Yes, the city is New York and the university is St. John's.
Fourth down and 1 for Duquesne. Now remember, they have not been able to run the ball inside very effectively on St. John's. Here's the option play, and Loya will get it as he goes inside the 10-yard line. A good call by Dave Loya, the 6'3", 190 freshman. He gets the first down off the option.
I thought it was an outstanding play because he had to read the fullback going up the middle. He faked the handoff to Gribble. He had the halfback on the outside and was able to turn it up. Loya, this young quarterback is doing a good job. This is their best drive of the year. Now they have a 1st and 10 inside the red zone. Now they're inside the 10. Ed, this is hard territory to score in.
First down, goal to go as Ray Lambright is back in the game now for St. John's, their fine defensive tackle. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Loya is a more mobile quarterback than Brian Staines. Here they go up the middle, down short of the goal line. A good play, quick acceleration up the middle by Eric Manzanek. Nice play, Billy. He showed a lot of speed up the middle, but good blocking that time as the Duquesne front line, the middle of the line, won the battle of the scrimmage that time.
And as you look at the halfback on this, he takes the ball off and really explodes at the point of attack. Outstanding job, lowers his shoulders, and really he was looking for that touchdown. Nice job of running.
A gain of 6 on the play brings up a 2nd down and goal to go as they go with a full house backfield this time, Duquesne. down at the 3-yard line. Handed to Gribble trying to go up the middle, but he is smacked down on a hard hit by the Red Storm. All those red jerseys led by Norman Smith Martin, the big freshman, made the initial hit on the fullback, Gribble, and really stacked him up. So that didn't go anywhere, Bill.
And I don't realize, and I don't understand why coaches, they have it all stacked up in the middle. The outside is there, Ed. Why not fake it inside as he had it inside and then take it to the outside?
I don't know. They ran the ball successfully to the outside early on in this ball game, too, until they went to the well too many times.
But, Ed, the outside is open.
Oh, I agree. I'm saying they had success with it early on. 3rd down and 2 now. 3rd and goal to go. Full house Macfield. This is Loya trying to get there. He gets to the promised land. Touchdown. And so that time a little different option look. But again, the option play with Dave Loya. L-O-Y-A scores for Duquesne. And St. John's lead is cut to 17-6 now with 6:26 to go in the 3rd quarter.
And as you look at the replay, he fakes to the fullback. Gribble is able to get outside. He has the option running back outside. Fools even our cameraman, but still he gets outside, gets the touchdown. And that's exactly what Duquesne needed. Outstanding job of faking the ball inside, making everybody submerge, and then taking it outside for the touchdown. This Loya kid, he may be the starting quarterback for Duquesne.
He certainly is a lot more mobile, making it work. Here is Chris Bergman, 38 of 40 on Pats in his career at Duquesne. And he nails that one, so Bergman now has made 15 in a row, and St. John's lead is cut as Duquesne gets a little confidence builder here with the Red Storm in front of the Dukes 17-7. Plenty of time left in this game. 6:25 to go in the 3rd quarter. A nice drive that time by Duquesne. You're watching MAC football.
You can see it in their faces. All across the country. Hard-working, dedicated, proud. They're an American tradition. People like you, with stories so real, emotions so real, memories so real. Now the tradition continues from Main Street to Hill Street. America, you'll never be over the hill.
Sundays at 7 here on TV 55.
Mario Cuomo's desperate new TV ad is simply false. It's ridiculous. I'm pro-choice. My husband, George Pataki, is pro-choice. His running mate, Betsy McCoy, is pro-choice. In fact, 4 years ago, George won the fight to put a pro-choice plank in the state party platform, one of the first in the nation. Governor Cuomo will lose this election because his policies have failed. But if he keeps throwing mud, he'll lose his reputation as well.
Hey, Joe, you know, preseason is when it all starts. You work hard, and you get ready for the big show.
Yeah, well, preseason and nobody beats the whiz is when you see the hottest new items in home entertainment and you beat the Christmas rush.
Welcome to the future of home entertainment. All the newest, the latest, the absolute cutting edge. The preseason expo at Nobody Beats the Whiz. There's just nothing like it.
Okay, Joe, ready? 25 times through the tire, no rim.
No problem.
Left-handed.
What?
Sunjet is proud to announce sensational airfares to brighten your day. Call 1-800-4SUNJET, meeting your expectations with great low fares to the west. On Sunjet, you can fly nonstop New York to Dallas from just $99. And to California, Sunjet will fly you New York to Los Angeles from just $129. For sensational savings, call now. 1-800-4SUNJET. Great low fares to brighten your day.
Back here at Red Storm Field, drink Pepsi. Have fun. Be young. Drink Pepsi. So Duquesne now will kick off to St. John's. 17-7. First Fidelity. MAC football is brought to you by the people of First Fidelity Bank. In the communities where we work and live, we've learned that banking is all about one thing, commitment. First Fidelity is a proud sponsor of the MAC Football League. So Bergman will kick off now. St. John's with 2 deep men. Hatwood is to the near sidelines. Delaney is to the far sidelines. It'll be Hatwood waiting for it to come down inside the 50. Got some room, but gets spilled as he goes across the 30. Aaron Hatwood, who leads the country 1 AA football, and kickoff returns. Fought that one back until Damon Barry spilled him up short of the 35. St. John's goes 1st and 10 from the 34.
And, Ed, this is a crucial series for both teams. Now, Duquesne's defense has a chance to stop them, keep the momentum, and get them back in the game. 17-7 is not that bad. Okay, as you look at the replay, Hatwood really doesn't take off like he should, doesn't run with the aggressiveness you see, and is able to get out to the 34-yard line. But, you know, he's leading the nation, and I'm looking for him to return one before it's over.
Yeah, I think he had a chance there maybe to break one, Billy. He got out to the 33. Hatwood has come out of the game, shaken up on the play as Creighton gets nowhere. As again we see the Duquesne defensive line really rise up here in the second half. Let's go to Kevin Christopher.
And that is the second half game plan for the Dukes. I just came from their sideline. Greg Gattuso exhorting his charges, saying, listen, guys, we got 7. There's no way we're out of this football game. And the defense is really, really fired up with implicit instructions to stick it where it hurts on John Anitra. I've been telling you guys all through the first half, he's having a lot of problems with that back. So I asked him, does it hurt? He said, heck yeah, it hurts.
That's a special kind of hurt, isn't it, Billy?
Well, I don't know about those kind.
All right, St. John's goes now 2nd down at 11, and certainly Duquesne has come out more fired up here in the second half. St. John's trying to get some running room up the middle with Creighton, but again, no running room. I think in the second half, what's happened here, St. John's has let down a little bit. Duquesne, instead of being psychologically destroyed by being down 17 points, has come back fired up and saying, look, we're not going to let these guys pound us like they did last year.
Well, see, it always confuses me. The first couple series, they're inside the 35-yard line. They try to run the ball between the tackles. They tried, have been unsuccessful. They were able to get a touchdown by Creighton getting outside. Why not do that now?
3rd and 9 for St. John's with O'Leary and McPherson, the wideouts. McPherson running free. The passes for Anitra off his hands. Now, McPherson was open, Billy, at midfield, running free, but Levine had set up a little play to the left side to Anitra.
I think he saw the screen all the way. It was a play called from the sidelines, and I think, you know, there's nothing you can do. When you throw it to your fullback, sometimes he does not have as good a hands, even though Anitra has caught a lot of passes today.
All right, that means Stephen Demikas will kick it away. He averages almost 35 yards a punt. Double safeties back for Duquesne to the far sidelines. Bill Sippage to the near sidelines. Joe Rosato. Low line drive. Inside the 30, bobble, but fall on and recovered by Bill Sippage. So Duquesne will go 1st and 10 inside their 30 with 4:48 to go here in the third quarter after a 35-yard punt by Demikas.
Now, Ed, this is a big series for Duquesne. Their offense was able to go the length of the field to score that pass time. The young quarterback, Dave Loya, has did a good job of engineering the offense. Now, if they can get back in field goal position, at least to get something out of it, they're back in this game. The momentum is over to Duquesne, Ed.
Now, they moved Rosato, who was a wide receiver playing tailback in the first half. He's now back at wide receiver, and they're going with the freshman Manzatic at tailback as Loya goes back to throw. He has a man open. It's up short of the 40-yard line. A nice catch by Jim Boomer. Kurt Ditzler, the safety, with good instincts, who had 4 interceptions last year, has 4 this year, made the initial tackle, helped out by the middle linebacker, Walter DeForest.
Outstanding job of play action by Dave Loya, the young quarterback. Hit Boomer over the middle, hit her in the perfect place. And as you look at the replay, the play action was just excellent. It kind of fooled the linebackers. Boomer was over in a perfect position, was able to take on the first blocker and pick up valuable yardage, get a first down. This is what Duquesne needs, and this is a different game than we've seen in the second half, Ed.
Well, they finally got the passing game going. They struggled with that in the first half, 2 of 9 throwing when Brian Staines was in there. Loya comes out, hits Boomer with a 10-yard reception, so they're now 4 of 7 behind Loya, passing the ball in the second half. Loya off the play action. Has a little room, and he throws a strike that is dropped by Todd Zinzer. He had a chance to catch that ball. It was thrown hard, no question, but he could not hold it. Kurt Ditzler was the man covering.
Well, he put the ball in the perfect spot. This guy, as I've said before, Loya is a fine quarterback. He didn't have the receiver did not have to reach up or down. He put it right in his midst, and he must be a defensive tackle trying to play tight end, because he just dropped the ball that was in a perfect position. Now, those things make a team lose confidence. Now they got to come back and do something.
Now it's 2nd down and 10 for Duquesne at the 40-yard line of the Dukes. Manzik tried to carry around the right end, gets up to around the 44-yard line before he stopped Pickup of the play about 4 yards as Duquesne went on the ground, going back to a play that worked well in the first half when they used Rosado sweeping. Stephen D'Amicis came up to make the stop. He's very good against the sweeps, the strong safety for St. John's.
As you look at the replay, I thought the outside was open against St. John's. He's able to get to the corner, gets a good job by the fullback and knocking him off, and picks up a good 7 yards, and that's what you need from running the ball. Nice job by the offensive line of Duquesne.
So it brings up a 3rd and long 3 situation for the Dukes as they try to keep it moving. They send Neely in motion. They come up the middle. They got the first down as Maddox with a nice cutback. Eric Manzik got through the right side. Ray Lambright had to turn around and go get him, but not before the Dukes get a first down in St. John's territory.
As you look at the replay, it's a kind of a counter play where the running back comes in behind the fullback and does an excellent job of getting north and south and running tough. And that's exactly what Duquesne has got to do if they're going to allow the play action to help them out. You get the running game going, the passing game will follow.
8-yard pickup on that play, Bill. Makes it first down and 10 for Duquesne here with 3:10 to go in the 3rd quarter. And the Dukes have had the better of the play here in the 3rd quarter. Since they went with the freshman quarterback. They try the young freshman tailback, Manzik, but he can't find any room that time as the Red Storm rises up and knocks him down, led by Randolph Howard, number 46, the 200-pound freshman from Bayshore, who is good against the run, as he showed there.
Well, it just seems like they tried the left side of the line because they wanted to keep him honest. They've been having success here in the second half by going to the right side, either outside or trying to keep it outside the tackles, and that was the time they showed you that they were just trying to keep St. John's honest.
The only place they've had success running left side is off the option play with Loyal to the quarterback. So it's 2nd down and 9 here for Duquesne in St. John's territory as again send Neely in motion. Throws, long route. Somebody went the wrong way. Rosado thought he should come back over the middle, and he was throwing a pass down along the sidelines, Bill.
That was Loya's probably worst pass since he's been in there, but they've got good field position. This is a key 3rd down situation that if they want to get back in the game, this is going to have to give them a chance to pick it up right here. This is 3rd and long, which means St. John's comes with those 3 down linemen and drops 8 men back unless they blitz.
And deny, so they really dare you to throw the football as they try to deny the passing game. Lambright, the big defensive tackle, is out again for St. John's on a 3rd and 9 situation. Let's see if they go to Neely. He's their best receiver, but he really hasn't been the flow of the game here. Lola getting pressure. He will not get it as he's sacked back around the midfield stripe as a host of red shirts come through. 4 men charging through, led by Steve Dombrowski and Chris Carew. And Walter DeForest and Chris Chase and all come in and make the stop for St. John's.
As you look at the replay, Dave Loya, the quarterback, is wondering who is blocking here because there was nobody there to help him out, and that's a dangerous situation. That's why the quarterback and the running back needs the help of the offensive line.
I thought it was your turn to block. I mean, that's what happened. Okay. Here's Bruce Nelson kicking it away on 4th down. Waiting for it is O'Leary back at the St. John's 10-yard line. Nelson has shown real good foot punting the ball today.
We need a little support.
O'Leary comes up for the fair catch at the St. John's 22, and the Red Storm will go 1st and 10 at their own 22 after a 26-yard punt with 1:34 to go here in the 3rd quarter. St. John's dominated play in the first half, building a 17-0 lead, but the Dukes have come back here, scored a touchdown in the second half, and had the better of the play. Now St. John's offense struggling here in the 3rd quarter, goes 1st and 10 from their own 23-yard line. They'll go with Levine, the quarterback, Anitra, the up-back, the fullback, and Creighton is the tailback. Creighton leads the MAC in rushing. Levine off the play action that worked well the first half. In trouble, down he goes, inside the 20, as it was good coverage of the receivers that time, and John Wojciechowski made the tackle, the sack for Duquesne.
I thought it was an outstanding job of pursuing the play by Wojciechowski. I thought he did an outstanding job of staying focused. And that was the first time they've been able to get to Levine on the rollout. Levine comes up a little bit limping. He does have a sore ankle. Is that correct, Ed?
Yes, he does. That's 3rd down, or 3rd time he's been sacked in this ball game. Goodis and O'Leary with the receivers. They were initially covered, Bill, but they eventually were getting free downfield when Levine felt the pressure and got dumped. So it's 2nd down for St. John's and 14 from their own 18-yard line with 46 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. This is Creighton. No running room at all on the left side. Creighton having trouble. Good surge then by the Duquesne defensive line as they have come out here in the 3rd quarter. Their defensive front 4 has played much, much better than the first half.
Well, I think the momentum has definitely shifted. St. John's offense does not look as explosive and aggressive as they did in the first half. It looked like Creighton, as my father used to call it, was doodling in the hole. He didn't run with the same reckless abandon that we saw him in the first half.
And he has a reputation, Creighton, of getting better the more times he carries the football. But that time he did not get anywhere. 3rd and 13, Levine under pressure. He'll go down under sack as John Wojciechowski comes through and dumps him again. The 6-foot, 225-pound junior from Pittsburgh, who reads things so well and is the best pass rusher for Duquesne, makes the play. Third quarter is over with St. John's on top by 10. You're watching MAC football.
Here come those hippies.
Pressure now is on the punter, Stephen Demekus of St. John's. On a 4th and 12, the 18, Demekus will be kicking from the shadow of his goal line. There are 2 men waiting for the kick. Bill Sippage and Joe Rosato. They're up around midfield as they wait for the 4th quarter to get underway.
And Ed, you talk about momentum shifting. This is an opportunity for Duquesne, despite the loss of their key running backs, being able to get a lot of confidence off of this.
They're coming with the block here. Now they take it off. Now they're going to put the return on. And a wobbly kick by Demekus goes out of bounds. They're going to mark it at the St. John's 42-yard line. So Duquesne has excellent field position after a wobbly 24-yard kick. Let's get out of Kevin Christopher for the sideline update.
Ed, we all know the old saw about the defense being on the field too long, getting tired, getting stale, losing their enthusiasm for the football game. Here on the St. John's sideline, that appears to be what's happening with their offensive line. These guys look awfully, awfully tired. Back to you.
You're absolutely right. Mentioning Billy Taylor up here, Kevin, about the fact that the St. John's offense looks weary. Now it's Duquesne's turn offensively to go 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line as Loya will go deep. Down the sideline, he has a man open but overthrows the intended receiver, Joe Rosato. Dave Lola went for the whole ball of wax here, and I think that's a good call. You've got to go deep once in a while. Make him respect your passing game.
I was going to say that, Ed, and the reason I was going to say that is because when the ball is turned back over to the offense after your defense has did an excellent job of stopping them, then I think it's good to try to go for the big play. As I said, go for the home run. Even though they're not completing it, it spreads the defense for Duquesne to do something underneath on their offense. Outstanding job by Loya.
Rosato comes out of the wide receiver spot, replaced by Matt Stark, who is a senior. On the right side, bottom of the screen is Neely. Handoff goes to the tailback, but not that time as Eric Manzik is stopped by Steve Dobrinsky, the 6'1", 223 junior, up to make the stop. Dobrinsky, a third-year starter, a lacrosse player. Really, Dobrinsky is kind of a John Madden-type player, blue-collar player, Billy.
Oh, yeah, he's tough, he's gritty, he plays hard all the time, and he's kind of a guy who doesn't get a lot of notice, but he's doing an excellent job up front, and he's one of the guys who's been getting penetration on that Duquesne offense but virtually all day.
So now Joe Rosato comes back in at wide receiver. He is their most dangerous man. He has the speed, the quickness to get deep on 3rd and 11 for the Dukes at the St. John's 39. As the tight end running down the middle, incomplete. Running free for a moment was Jim Boomer, but then the convergence of the St. John's defense. Ken Forte came over there, was helped out by Kurt Ditzel. They closed quickly on Boomer. Loyal had to throw it away, Bill.
I don't agree with that because 3rd down and 10, I think you can throw underneath on St. John's defense. If you go for the bomb when people are double covered, you're only doing it to send a message. I thought they had a better chance if they stayed underneath.
You're probably right. At least the way the play worked out, they certainly would have, because it goes as an incomplete pass and sets up a punting situation for Bruce Nelson to kick to John O'Leary, the St. John's sole safety, waiting back at the Red Storm's 10-yard line. There's a good snap. Nelson hasn't had many of them. High short kick. Here's a fair catch being called for at the 18-yard line, and a crowd of people. A flag goes down. I think he's going to object, Mr. O'Leary, to being squeezed by the defense, the special teams of Duquesne after a 26-yard punt. They didn't allow him enough room, I thought, Billy, to catch that ball.
No, they did not. You must give him a complete amount of space. I think it's maybe within a foot of him to be able to at least have room to put his hand up for a fair catch and room to see the ball and receive it. Now, I don't know about that punt because I thought there was only probably a 30-yard exchange or even 15-yard exchange.
Well, Billy, I thought it would have been difficult to get a ham sandwich between the O'Leary and the defender coming downfield.
As you look at the replay, he did a good job of calling a fair catch, but the defender got a little bit too close to him, and he was knocked into it by the defender. So I thought maybe that was not a good call, but they reversed it and picked the flag up. Nice job by the officials, and we very rarely compliment them, Ed.
You do, Billy. I do all the time, Billy. I'm careful, Billy. We have to have a balanced broadcast. So I always compliment them, Bill. First and 10 at the St. John's 19-yard line. Red Storm in front by 10 with 13:53 to go in the ball game. They go back to the meal ticket. Creighton, as he spins and twists out to the 23-yard line. Jermaine Creighton came into this game averaging 177 yards per game rushing in the last 4 games, but I think defensively they've done a pretty good job in holding him down to 72 yards in this game, Bill.
And as you look at the replay, it's a counter with the guard pulling, does an outstanding job of doing a 180 turn to pick up valuable yardage, and really shows you that this guy has to be dealt with. Creighton is a fine running back. That's why he's leading the MAC conference.
Second down and 5 as Anitra comes back at fullback. Flag toss before the play gets off. So we'll wait for the call. Usually in a situation like that, it's on the offensive team, but let's see.
Well, St. John's has been kind of lethargic before that nice run by Creighton, so they really got to get some momentum and really give their defense a little bit of a chance to rest, as we talked to Kevin earlier on the sidelines about getting a little bit too tired.
Well, it's a warm afternoon for football, and when you're not playing with too many people, both teams do not have much depth on the defense. Your defensive players are going to get tired, so a 5-yard penalty for illegal procedure against St. John's, and a delay of game, too, sets them back. Now they go 2nd and 10 from their 19-yard line, and Levine wants to throw. He has Anitra open the middle, but steady throws out of the 30-yard line, in and out in the hands of the receiver, Dave Anderson, the tight end, who took over as the starting tight end when Dan Parker broke his leg in the Georgetown game. Anderson's known as a pretty good blocker, but not too much of a pass catcher, Billy, as you can see on that play.
As you look at the replay, it's a straight drop back. He puts the ball right in Dave Anderson's hands. The bad thing about Dave Anderson, he tries to catch it in his body. If you catch the ball in your hands, you have a better chance to catch it. I don't like to see that when a receiver leaps and tries to catch the ball in his body. If he catches it in hand, he's got an easier chance to receive it.
On 3rd and 10 for St. John's, they take Jermaine Creighton out of the backfield. They leave Anitra in. Levine has Anitra running free over the middle, but he also has a wide receiver in and out of the hands of Tom Goudis, who was open to the 40-yard line, but he could not hang on to Mark Levine's pass.
There's a penalty on it's roughing the passer, which enables St. John's to keep the ball. They're very lucky on the play. Goudis had the ball in his hand. He ran a deep in cut, was able to miss the ball. And if you look at the replay, Levine had all day to throw. His offensive line did an outstanding job. Put the ball on the money. Goudis has got to come up with that reception because he caught it with room to run, and that's exactly where a receiver likes to catch it when he has an opportunity to create something else, Ed.
Well, Aaron Hatwood, who is one of the top receivers for St. John's, has been on the sideline most of the second half. He was banged up on a play early in the 3rd quarter, and that hurts the St. John's passing game.
Well, Ed, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good because they were lucky on that play to get a penalty to keep this drive alive.
Creighton again out of there as they go 1st and 10 with Anitra the sole setback. 3 wide receivers. The slot is on the left side, bottom of the screen. Levine again with a lot of time. This time he finds Anitra running free out across the 45. He has the first down as he goes out of bounds to the 49-yard line. And that's a play that St. John's likes to use. They used it very successfully last week when they completed 9 passes to Anitra. And Anitra going back to work in this game, Bill, now has caught 6 for 56 yards, and he has certainly been a factor catching passes.
Yes, he did. I think he caught 9 last week, if I'm correct. And I think that's a good situation for Levine because it's a very safe pattern. It's delayed by the fullback, comes out, runs a flat. Nobody was in the area, was able to pick up a first down.
That was a 15-yard pickup on the play as St. John's goes 1st and 10 at midfield with now under 13 minutes to play and a 10-point lead. That's Anitra. Nothing there, though, but he still makes something out of nothing as the 220-pound junior fullback from Bayshore, Long Island, gets it all on second effort, Bill.
Yes, and he's a very tough fullback, too. He's the kind of guy who will take the extra hit, spin, do whatever he can to. And plus, he's hurt. Now, if you watch at the point of attack, he takes the hit. He's really stopped in the hole with his offensive line, but keeps his leg churning, keeps spinning, was able to pick up 3 yards on total effort by himself. And I thought it was an outstanding job by a fullback who's hurt a little bit, Ed.
All right, you're watching MAC football. St. John's going with a one-back running offense here in the second half. Anitra out for the pass. He's caught 6 already. Give him another one. He's got a 7th pass of the day, and he gets a first down for St. John's as Levine and Anitra have become the big combination here in the second half, Bill.
Yes, they have, and I think that Duquesne is going to have to make an adjustment because that play has been there all day. The only thing I do not like, and I used to get chastised all the time for running out of bounds after the reception, as you look at the replay, Levine has all day to throw. He lets the fullback take his time, delay underneath, and they have not stopped that play all day. Picks up another first down for the Red Storm.
A 10-yard pickup, and Coach Greg Gattuso of Duquesne had talked about the need to stop that play, so he was well aware of Anitra's capabilities as a receiver going in, but that has not helped Duquesne stop that pass play. 1st and 10 for St. John's. Little sideline pass dropped by McPherson. They've done a good job of keeping McPherson out of the game plan. McPherson came into this game with 35 career touchdowns. He has 1 catch today for 24 yards.
But, you know, Ed, I've always believed in taking what the defense gives you. If the defense takes away McPherson, that means that's the reason why the fullback is open and sometimes the halfback is. But I think what they have to do is Duquesne is dropping their defensive backs pretty deep so that the Red Storm have to throw everything underneath, and I think that's been the difference, Ed.
So we go 2nd and 10 now for the Red Storm as they go with a 3-wide receiver formation and Anitra as the sole running back. Creighton getting some rest here in the second half for St. John's, their fine tailback. That's McPherson running free with an excellent catch. What a grab. Goes out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Tom McPherson showing why he is an outstanding receiver. His 2nd reception of the day, and he has put St. John's in an excellent position after a catch of 28 yards.
I thought that was a beautiful pass and catch. Offensive line, you must give them credit for giving the time to throw. As you look, it's a straight drop back, and McPherson, what he does is what they call a fade pattern. He fades down the sideline. Levine throws it as far as he can. Watch the hands that McPherson has. Those are what you call outstanding hands. First down, big play, St. John's.
McPherson has excellent awareness of where the ball is as he caught it over the shoulder then. Now Creighton has returned, and St. John's will run out of the I formation, and Anitra the up back, Creighton the deep back. But Levine's going to pass for the corner, going for Hatwood, incomplete as he threw to Aaron Hatwood. Incomplete pass makes it 2nd down and goal to go for St. John's at the Duquesne 9 with 12:09 to go, Bill.
Good job by Levine. Threw the ball in man coverage, put the ball out there where only the receiver had an opportunity to catch it. And Levine, you know, if you watch him play, you wouldn't believe this guy's a freshman because he's has so much poise, and he's got that coolness in the pocket that you want your quarterback to have. A freshman takes a little while to have it, and I think that's going to be a St. John's trademark for a long time as long as Levine's here.
Well, Levine is 19 of 33 for 251 yards, Bill, so he's putting together another fine day throwing the football. He'll put McPherson to the left. As he goes on 2nd down, play action. Levine now under some pressure as he fires in the end zone. Incomplete. Trying for the diving catch in the end zone of a hard throw by Levine. He really rifled that ball. Was intended for David Anderson. Almost came up with a shoestring grab in the end zone.
I thought Levine, if you looked at the replay, he had an opportunity because he had a lead blocker in front of him. You watch, if he cuts in right here, he's got the whole field in front of himself to make either the first down or the touchdown himself. I thought Anderson should have had the ball because he put it exactly where he should. Nice job by Levine, but Anderson's got to come up with that catch.
So now St. John's has a 3rd down situation at the Duquesne 8. They split the running backs, Anitra and Creighton. But Levine wants to throw under pressure. Gets away from one defender. Now he's going to run. Now he throws. Touchdown. What a play as he hits Tom McPherson with his 36th career touchdown. Tom McPherson, the 5'9", 160-pound junior from Valley Stream, Long Island, with the sure hands, locks up another touchdown pass.
Well, that's why you have to give credit to Levine for showing his athleticism at quarterback. He was one-on-one with the defender, was able to avoid him, was able to keep his eyes focused downfield. And as you look at the replay, Levine does an outstanding job of keeping his eyes downfield, oblivious to the rush. He avoids the first rush and keeps his head looking downfield. Most freshmen would have tucked it and run. Saw McPherson in the back of the end zone, delivers the ball on the money, touchdown, and this game may be out of reach.
As Lidwith tries the extra point, it is good. Converting. Almost Mr. Automatic this year, John Ledwith lately, as he nails that one to give St. John's a 24-7 lead on a 12-play, 81-yard drive by St. John's as they reestablish themselves in this game and take control with 11:54 to go. St. John's over Duquesne 24-7. I'll tell you, Levine made a nice move that time to elude Joe Neckerman. The linebacker came through, had a shot at him, but Levine got around him and bought a little time. And McPherson, if you give him that much time to get loose in the secondary, he can get open. Before the Pay St. John's football game on Thanksgiving Day, St. John's will be hosting a 5K run on the St. John's campus. Registration will be at 8 a.m. Race starting time is 9 o'clock. Pre-registration fee is $12. Following the race, of course, will be the St. John's and Pace football game beginning at 10:30 a.m. For more information, call the St. John's Athletic Office at 718-990-6217. So St. John's will kick it away to Duquesne, and the situation for the Dukes is pretty desperate at this point, Bill. 17 points down with 11:54 to go in the ball game.
Yeah, I think Duquesne with Dave Loya is really got to come up with something big offensively, but he's got a good arm. It's just that the momentum has swung back to St. John's, and it was an outstanding effort. But I think it goes back to when there was a personal foul roughing the passer when they stopped him on third down that enabled St. John's to keep it going.
With a squib kick that Rosado will pick up inside the 15-yard line. A good kick to Rosado, who is so dangerous coming back. He's dropped to the 21-yard line. So Joe Rosado, who came in here as an outstanding kickoff returner, has not been able to break one today. Let's go down to Kevin.
Ed, up until that last drive, Tom McPherson was probably the most frustrated football player on the St. John's team. We know him. We've seen him before. We know he wants the football. In fact, before that drive, there was a great deal of disparity on the sideline as to the play-calling sequence. They wanted to throw the football, but they knew that in order to get the ball to McPherson, they'd have to go underneath to Anitra and chew up some yardage. They were successful doing it, and ultimately, combined with Levine's poise, it resulted in that 6 to Tom McPherson.
And now a chance for Duquesne to go 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Walter DeForest with a bruising tackle on Eric Manzanek. The freshman tailback is dropped.
You talk about having heart as a football player. The running back, as you look at the replay, he looked like he had a lot of room to run. Manzanek, the halfback, DeForest comes out of nowhere and lays a lick on him. That may be our defensive player of the game right there, Ed.
Well, he was the last time we did the broadcast with St. John's in Georgetown. He played an outstanding game, and Bob Ricker thinks he's the best linebacker in the MAC, and there aren't too many people arguing with him.
I agree with him.
They're going to give it to the young tailback, Manzanek again, and he finds some running room as he bounces off a defender to get the first down and drives across the 40-yard line with probably what is the best run of the day for Duquesne. Eric Manzanek, the freshman running back, finally pulled down by Kurt Ditzler, the free safety, the sophomore from Islip, Long Island, making the stop on the young freshman from Salzburg, Pennsylvania.
As you look at the replay, it's basically a sweep to the outside. He's got the option to cut in at all. Once he hits it, you see him turn on the speed and really show the aggressive toughness that he has. I see where they brought him in for Rosado because he knows how to finish the play. He runs low and keeps his legs churning. Good running back.
Gets 18 yards. It also enables Duquesne to put Rosado at a position that he plays all the time and is so dangerous at, a wide receiver where he is now. Pass is knocked away as he tried to get to the tailback. Manzanek knocked away by Chris Carew, the 6-foot senior from Franklin Square. Carew has a knack of being around the football, as he showed them by knocking that pass away.
And even if you can't get to the passer, when you get close enough to him, get them hands up, because a lot of guys that get a little lazy don't want to put their hands up because they don't get the pressure to the quarterback. But when you do that, Chris Carew showed you that you can be involved in it even though you're not close to the quarterback, because he stops a key situation for Duquesne.
Dave Loya continues to be the quarterback for Duquesne, the freshman, 6'3", 190. Took over to start the second half as Neely comes in motion to the right. St. John's blitzing. Picked up. Here's the throw, complete at midfield as he hits Joe Rosado, the wide receiver. They picked up the blitz that enabled Loya to get somebody open because Rosado had single coverage then. Ken Forte making the stop. It is short of the first down for Duquesne, brings up a 3rd and 2 situation.
I thought it was an outstanding job by Duquesne of picking up the blitz, as you said, Ed. And what that does, it enables St. John's to be in man coverage. Loya looked over the situation and was able to drill the ball to Rosado close enough where this is a short 3rd down situation.
With 10 minutes to go, Duquesne down by 17. St. John's on top here as Duquesne goes from the iron short yardage situation. Gribble is the up back. Though throwing is Loya. Incomplete as it's knocked away. DeForest was over there making a fine play to knock it away. Also helped out on the play by Stephen D'Amicis. The pass was intended for Jim Boomer, but brings up a 4th down and 3 situation for Duquesne.
You may have to go for it now because, like you said, there's less than 10 minutes left in the game. You're down by more than 2 touchdowns. You need to create something for your offense. But that was the first time, Ed, that I saw Loya show his freshmanship. He didn't have his feet set, threw the ball with 3 men around him, and that's how you throw interceptions.
I'd like to see Duquesne go back to the option play. I mean, from the standpoint of calling a play that's worked well for them, Loya has run the option well today on that 3rd down. I don't think you call it here. Van Zandt gets the 1st down and more as he goes inside the 40, then hit and driven back on a driving tackle by Kurt Ditzler, the free safety. The man with a good sense where the ball is, getting a good angle that time. That's an area where Coach Ricker hoped that Ditzler would improve, and certainly on that play he showed the improvement, but Duquesne gets a 1st down.
As you look at the replay, it's the simple sweep that ran before. Mazanek has an opportunity to cut in when he sees the opening. He puts his head down, accelerates through the hole, picks up the 1st down, and keeps the drive going for Duquesne.
Manzanek, 11 carries for 56 yards after picking up 10 yards on that last play. So Duquesne has a 1st and 10 at the 41 of St. John's, and Loya wants to throw. Incomplete. Not a good pass as he tried to hit Joe Rosato. Rosato being covered by number 42, Kurt Ditzler. And Ken Forte, number 49, brings up a 2nd down situation. When you throw the ball, 2 things happen, of course. You get a chance to get more yardage throwing it, and number 2, you stop the clock. You use the clock better. And every time you have an incomplete pass, stops the clock with 9:14. I think Duquesne is almost forced to throw every down with occasional mix it up with a run here and there because Manzanek is making some yardage on the runs. So Duquesne goes 2nd and 10 now. Neely again comes in motion to the left. Flag on the play. Pass incomplete out of the hands of Rosato. Ken Forte with the tackle, breaking it up. But as we said, there was a flag on the play.
Even though there's a flag on the play, Ed, that's a tough pass to throw because you're trying to get it timing inside the linebacker and in between the defensive back. And as you look at the replay, he takes basically a 3-step drop. He's trying to get the ball inside, and that's a hard pass to throw because that safety will give you what they call a hospital ball if the ball is a little bit high like that.
A hospital ball. I've been in sports for 228 years. I never heard hospital ball.
That's when the quarterback...
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
I know
the quarterback
what you mean. That's good.
Throws the ball, and the receiver has a chance to go to the hospital after he catches it.
That's like Casey Stengel said about the Mets in the first year. He said, I have Johns Hopkins ball players. What he was saying is the players belonged in the hospital down outside of Baltimore. That's how old and feeble they were. Loya back throwing over the middle. Intercepted by St. John's at the 30-yard line. Running with the football is Chris Chasen with his 1st interception of the season. And St. John's forcing a turnover. Well, you almost could see that coming, Billy, couldn't you?
Exactly, because they were only rushing 3 people, dropping back 8. They were playing both zone and man, so I thought Loya was not reading the ball right. He threw the ball in the crowd, interception St. John's, and I think that St. John's has as you look at the replay, it's a simple 7-step drop. Now, the play action does not fool anybody because it's a 3rd down situation and long. Throws the ball in the crowd. There's nobody around but the defense of St. John's, and that's what Loya's got to learn as a freshman, to not throw there. There's got to be somebody open somewhere else.
So St. John's comes up with their 3rd interception of the day. They have the ball at their 38-yard line, and now they are controlling this game as they send Creighton up the middle, but no running room as he runs into Craig Alagulia. The 250-pound sophomore from Pittsburgh makes a stop, but now the clock becomes St. John's ally with 8:45 and running.
This is when you totally depend on your offensive line to really just blow Duquesne off the line and keep the clock and the chains moving, because you want your defense to be sitting on the bench like they are, well rested, ready to go back in if needed. But right now the offensive line has got to take charge.
But St. John's offensive line has not been able to make the running game work here in the 2nd half. Duquesne has won the battle of line of scrimmage when it comes to St. John's trying to run the ball. And that's why Levine is going to go upstairs and try to throw. But he will run. In a crowd, he dives out to the 45-yard line, comes up short of the 1st down. Tom Goudis making the block then. Wide open was a receiver, too, for St. John's. As Levine got the little happy feet. You know, that's the kind of play, Billy, when early on in the season, Coach Ricker would shake his head because he'd want Levine to throw the ball to the open receiver, but instead he'd run with it. But it's a thing that he hasn't showed as a failing lately, as a freshman quarterback. Generally, he's thrown the ball when he's had somebody open.
He made a good decision on that, but they took away a Nitro on that play by bringing a linebacker with them, and it kind of took away what they had been having success with all day.
So it's 3rd and 4 for St. John's up at their 45-yard line. They want Creighton to get them the first down, but he's not going to get it. As we said, Duquesne has won the battle of line of scrimmage here in the second half when it has come to St. John's trying to run the ball against the Dukes. They have been the Iron Dukes here in the second half on the line of scrimmage, stopping that run.
As you look at the replay, they blitz in the hole because they realize St. John's has to go. There's no place for Creighton to go. The pursuit of Duquesne does an outstanding job. And even though Duquesne has really, they're behind on the scoreboard, I thought their defense has played very aggressive at the point of attack.
Yes, certainly the second half brings up a 4th down situation for St. John's. Demekus will punt it away. Rosato will wait for it just inside the 20 with 7 minutes in the clock running. St. John's up 24-7 over Duquesne on what seems like a early October day. It's that warm here in Queens, New York. Rosato trying to squirm, take some shots at the 30-yard line. Good coverage then by St. John's. Took 3 people to bring him down, but they did after a 30-yard punt from Demekus.
You know, as you look at the replay, and Rosato does a good job of trying to go north and south. This is why people do not like football, because those kind of licks will probably last for a couple weeks, Ed. I'm just happy I don't play anymore.
Well, I can feel that in my kidneys. My kidneys went ache until Sunday afternoon, I got to tell you, after watching. I mean, he didn't take one. He took 3 shots, Rosato, on that one.
Ed, you sure it's not the Pepsi?
I think it's age. 1st and 10 for Duquesne at their 31. 6:39 to go, and the Dukes have a lot of work if they're going to win this ball game. Juggling as Manzanek, the tailback, the freshman who has come in here in the second half to get his first playing time this year because Duquesne has lost their first 3 tailbacks through injuries and ailments. Tim Gribble threw a block then to get up a little yardage for the freshman tailback out to the 35-yard line where Walter DeForest made the stop for St. John's.
I thought Mazanek has come in all day and done an outstanding job of running tough. Anytime you pick up 4 yards on first down, I think that's a big key because it makes your second down situation really a choice for the offense.
Billy, I would think they're going to throw here, though, with 6:06 to go and down by 17. Let's see if Loyola tries to put it in the air on 2nd and 6 from the I. Here comes the bomb. He's got Neely running free, but overthrows Neely. Mark Neely, the sophomore, 6'0", 185, had eluded Kurt Ditzler, but Lola threw the ball over the intended receiver, brings up a 3rd and 6 for Duquesne.
And Loya is showing you his arm right there because he really extended the receiver. The receiver was not open. I thought maybe he should have come back toward the middle. I think the middle of this defense in St. John's is wide open. They're only rushing 3 guys, and they're dropping back 8, so Loya has got to be a little more patient and take what the defense gives him.
I think you're right, Billy. They really haven't tested the middle of the St. John's defense. Medium-range middle passes. They threw a couple in the first half successfully, or at least passes that receivers dropped when they should have caught the ball, perhaps. So it's 3rd and long now for Duquesne as Neely comes in motion again. Here's the pressure backside. They got him. Bing. Gets the pass away, but excellent blitz that time by the St. John's as the Red Storm had Steve Dombrowski and Walter DeForest coming in a hurry on the blitz, and they gave the freshman quarterback about 1/10 of a second to get rid of that football.
As you look at the replay, nobody blocked the outside guy. The running back has at least got to take a look at him. They had 2 guys on them. Loya was happy that they didn't award that as a fumble.
My son, who is keeping play-by-play here, Kevin, shakes his head as if Lola got his bell rung on that one. I think he was right.
You should teach Kevin the game of tennis.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying. We're working on that, too. 4th down is here. Working on my tennis. He can beat me. 4th down and kicking it away will be Bruce Nelson for Duquesne with 5:49 to go. And the Dukes really don't want to give up the football, but they have to. Back at the 20-yard line, O'Leary. Nice return by O'Leary out across the 33, and a flag comes sailing across the play. That's a 45-yard punt by Bruce Nelson, who probably is kicking the ball better than we've seen anybody kick it this year, Bill. All right, MAC football is brought to you in part by the people of First Fidelity Bank. In the communities where we work and live, we've learned that banking is all about one thing, commitment. First Fidelity is a proud sponsor of the MAC Football League.
MAC football is brought to you in part.
Go 1st down and 10 from their own 19-yard line with the clock their ally. And try to get some yardage as he runs to the ball is Rohan Kerr, making his first carry of the day. The 5'8", 180-pound freshman tailback picks up a couple of yards, but it may come back because a flag was tossed on the play.
Well, they've got to keep the chains moving, keep their defense off the field. Even if they're unsuccessful, they still have to run the ball. The running backs have to tighten up on holding the ball because you do not want to turn over down here.
Not with 5:21 to go and in control of the game. The only way St. John's can lose this game is if they turn the ball over a couple of times to the Dukes. Well, the penalty, yes, Bill, go ahead.
It's been a stupendous effort by the St. John's offense coming through adverse situations.
So the penalty goes against Duquesne, 15 yards. That hurts the Dukes, gives St. John's a better field position now at their 37-yard line. 1st and 10 with 5:21 to go. St. John's has not been able to run the ball effectively in the second half. The one touchdown drive they put together was through the airways. They're going with Kerr and Contos as the running backs. St. John's going with their second unit running backs. They hand the ball off to Kerr, and he gets some running room out across the 40. I think they're giving Anitra and Creighton some rest as they're kind of beat up, and this ball game is pretty much in the bag for St. John's. Tim Jacoby made the stop for Duquesne.
As you look at the replay, it's a delayed draw to Kerr. He goes off the right side, makes the cut up the middle off behind his right guard. It really shows you the good balance. And because Creighton is leading the MAC in rushing, sometimes you don't look at the understudy, but that was a nice run by Kerr.
Yeah, Kerr had carried the ball 13 times for 15 yards, so he hadn't done too much running the ball going into this game, but he's shown some moves here, Billy. Looks like he's got some ability. 2nd down and a long 4 for St. John's. This time they hand it off inside to the fullback, Jason Contos. He drags them up to around the 45-yard line as the clock winds down under 4:20 now. St. John's just wants to run out the clock. By winning this game today, they would go to 5-1 in the MAC, and that would tie them with Marist for first place. Now, if these two teams finished at the end of the year tied for first, Marist wins the MAC championship by virtue of beating St. John's in their head-to-head confrontation earlier in the year.
And I think they were lucky to play so early because right now St. John's is playing quite well.
Well, Marist played well that day up there in the mud and rain. It was a tie game at halftime. Marist came on in the third quarter, used their size advantage, put 3 scores on the board in the third quarter and beat St. John's. Here comes Kerr. Fumbles the ball. Picked up by Duquesne, but the whistles are blowing. The ball was down. The official rules, his knee was down. And that certainly will disappoint number 99 for Duquesne, Tim Jacoby, because he had the ball and had nothing but wide open spaces in front of him.
Well, let's go to the replay, Ed, because I thought it was a fumble. I mean, I thought he got hit at the point of attack. He didn't hold on to the ball. And just as we say that, the replay comes up. It's a delayed handoff to Kerr again. He makes the cut up inside. He's going in east and west, which is terrible for running back. Watch the hit that comes up. The ball was out before he hit the ground, Ed, but they don't listen to us.
No, that's 2 for 2 today you picked up on, Bill, on
Thank you very
big
much.
plays. Kevin Delaney now comes in to punt for St. John's, getting a rare opportunity to kick it away for the Red Storm at the 45. Gets off a nice punt. Fair catch is called for inside the 25-yard line for Duquesne by Joe Rosato. And so the Dukes get it back, but there's only 2:49 left to go. After a 32-yard punt, St. John's in front 24-7 over the Dukes. And the Dukes have the clock running against them at this point.
That's right. They've got to put the ball in the air. But I can't take credit for this, but they say that these must be some NFL officials because they're making some tough calls that maybe some people may call in later in the week on.
Nobody is safe. Women and children might be hammered by Billy Taylor before this day is out. 1st down and 10 for the Dukes. And Dave Loya is still the quarterback. Long way to go. Timeout call by St. John's. They take a time. This copyrighted telecast of MAC Football League may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the written consent of the MAC Football League. All right, let's go to Kevin Christopher. Ears and eyes along the sideline. Kev?
Gentlemen, a slight point of interest here for you and our viewers regarding the officiating. On the Duquesne sideline, they feel like they've pretty much gotten jobbed on more than one occasion this afternoon by the officials. And interestingly enough, back in the golden age of Duquesne football in Pittsburgh, one of their coaches, Elmer Layden, is generally considered as the man who invented the hand signals used by, you guessed it, the modern-day officials.
Yeah, Elmer Layden was very successful here. Won about 70% of his games when he coached Duquesne back in the late 20s and 30s. In those days, Duquesne had an outstanding football team. They went to the Palms Bowl, Bill, in the 30s, and that was the first year of what was to become the Orange Bowl. And that game, Duquesne trampled Miami. They also went back to the Orange Bowl in, I think, 1936, played then, and won that game, too. So Duquesne, back in the 20s, 30s, and early 40s, had a very successful football program on a Division 1A level. Wasn't 1A then, but they played with the big boys then and successfully.
Ed, I don't know if my parents were born then.
Well, obviously some football players who played for Duquesne did. Here goes a rollout by number 6. The quarterback hits the receiver out across the 40-yard line, as now Duquesne comes in with a third quarterback of the day. Number 6 in there for Duquesne. They don't have him listed on the roster, folks. A little tough to tell you who that is.
I thought it was a good job, and Boomer did an outstanding job of staying with the quarterback, because sometimes when the quarterback's scrambling, the receiver's got to work for you. And as you look on the replay, does an outstanding job of play faking, comes out with the guard inside, it pulls up, throws a perfect pass to Boomer after he loses the tackle, and really puts the ball on the money. Nice job for a quarterback just coming in.
Yeah, number 6, Ryan Hassler. On the roll, has it knocked down on a nice defensive play by St. John's, as John Yandratis made the deflection on the throw by young Ryan Hassler.
Ed, as far as an offensive player, I'm either going to go with Anitra or Mark Levine. What do you think?
Anitra or Levine? I'd say Levine.
Levine?
Yeah, I think Levine, for the job he did today, you could give it to Anitra, but I'd say Mark Levine, the freshman from Freeport, Long Island, the quarterback for St. John's, who had an outstanding day throwing the football today, should be the man. He was the 20 of 35 throwing for 259 yards, 2 touchdowns.
So Mark Levine's our guy.
Put Mark Levine down as 2nd and 10 for Duquesne at the 40. Hassler's going to do the quarterback draw. Gets across midfield, gets the first down, and goes out of bounds to stop the clock, which is the way you're supposed to execute that play. Let's go back to Kevin.
Guys, I got to put my 2 cents in here in terms of the defensive player of the day, and I think it's a toss-up on the St. John's side of the football. Ditzler and D'Amicis. To borrow a word from the Billy Taylor Dictionary of Superlatives, their coverage today has been outstanding.
Hey, Kevin, I got some new words. Stupendous, super, fantastic, incredible, impressive, stellar. What do you think, Kevin?
Hey, Billy, why don't you save until next week? Here's Hassler trying to give it off that time. As the clock is down to 1:45, as you can tell, this game is pretty well decided, as some poor humor takes over in the waning minutes of this game, with St. John's up 24-7. Duquesne having a lot of clean jerseys out there now, as Coach Greg Gattuso gives some young players some opportunity to play in the MAC. St. John's coming with a blitz. Trying to get Hassler back there. He's going to throw it over the middle of the field, and almost had a chance for a pick then as Chris Carew came across, but just goes as an incomplete pass. Bring up a 3rd down situation with 1:20 to go.
Ed, I'm thinking of Stephen D'Amicis, and I think he's done an outstanding job of coming up against the run, because, you know, they stopped the running game, even though they didn't have their star running backs were not there for Duquesne. D'Amicis did come up and stop the run, did a good job against the pass. Your thoughts, Ed?
Well, I think you can't go wrong when you pick D'Amicis. After all, he was first-team All-MAC last year, very physical player. He's good against the sweeps. He's a tough hitter, quick to the ball. He's 6'2", 202, a sophomore from East Islip, Long Island. So Stephen D'Amicis is our defensive player of the game. Hassler trying to throw here. Complete pass. Boy, that's a nice throw on the run, running out to the left. You know that, Bill?
Yes, it is. That's
a beautiful throw. Matt Dorsey made the catch. Chris Carew made the tackle. As the clock is down to 1:11, down to the St. John's 36. 1st down and 10 for Duquesne is Ryan Hassler.
And you see Kurt Ditzler on the sideline. I think he's our 2nd runner-up, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say Ditzler played very well today, too. He defends the pass very well. Came up with an interception. As the pass goes off the hands of Chris Carew, who's got a few interceptions in his career at St. John's. He had an excellent chance there to pick one. Kind of throws his hands up in the air and say, "My hands, they betrayed me, Coach."
That's hard to tell the coach, because when you're in the film room, everybody gets upset. There's a lot of yelling in there, and if you miss a pass out in the game, you know when your turn comes up in the film room, you know it's time to hide underneath the table somewhere. I know, Ed.
Some places they make you buy the soft drinks that day, don't they, Billy?
And the pizza.
Yeah, well, I like the pizza. Call me. 2nd and 10. At the 36 for Duquesne with 58 seconds to go in the game, and St. John's up 24-7. Hassler with the ball.
Come on, good job, Norman. Get there, Norman.
And he gets out of bounds at the 31-yard line to stop the clock. So St. John's taking control of the game in the first half, building a 17-0 lead. Duquesne came back in the third quarter, made it interesting when they scored a touchdown, and it looked like they had the better of the play. They certainly came out with a more aggressive style of play. St. John's, particularly on the offensive side, seemed to let down, but then they got turned away, the Dukes. We had a roughing the passer call went St. John's way, and St. John's used that as a catalyst to drive down and get the touchdown. It really gave them the game here as the Redmen are now, the Red Storm, are now about to win their 5th straight. As Hassler has trouble keeping his feet, down he goes. Clock is running with 40 seconds to go. So St. John's coming on strong, winning 5 in a row.
And you got to give credit to Duquesne because they came in here, they had some injuries, they had the flu bug hitting their Bill Green running back, and they were able to put up a good effort, and they just came up on the short end.
Well, Green, of course, had the injury, and the backup to him, Brian Cornell, had the flu, and those two could not play, so they had neither one of their tailbacks today. St. John's going to 7-1 overall, 5-1 in the conference. There goes a pass that St. John's will try to track down for an interception, but as Hassler just threw that one away to stop the clock with 11 seconds to go. And this one ostensibly is over, folks, as St. John's will continue rolling along here. And Duquesne, which had hoped to come in here and win because it's been a long, long time since they won 7 games in one season. They had to win their last 2. To have that happen, will suffer their 4th loss of the year. They'll go 5-4 overall. They'll go 3-3 in the conference. And there are a lot of 500 teams in the MAC. Teams hovering around the 500 mark, with St. John's and Marist establishing themselves as the 2 superior teams in the MAC as we head down the home stretch of this conference race. Of course, for St. John's, the victory enables them to tie Marist and keeps them in the hunt for the MAC title. St. John's just kneeling on the play to run out the clock, and that will do it as St. John's with a 24-7 victory over Duquesne. And if I'm Bob Brick, I've got to feel good about this game because Duquesne came in off a Monday night win over Iona. It looked like they were building up a little steam. They have a really veteran defensive unit, and they had some weapons offensively. Of course, they couldn't get those weapons going today, and there were a lot of reasons for that. But St. John's posts another victory in MAC play. You're watching MAC football.
Cy Sperling, president of Hair Club for Men.
Posted a 24-7 victory, and there's the play that really closed it out for St. John's, Billy Taylor. When they were up 17-7, they put their last touchdown on the board.
Well, Mark Levine did an outstanding job avoiding the rush, keeping his head up, looking downfield, finds McPherson in the end zone all alone, and gives McPherson that touchdown. Nice job by Mark Levine, who was our MVP.
A 9-yard touchdown pass that capped off a 12-play, 81-yard drive. St. John's tying Marist for the MAC lead, and now next up for the MAC game of the week, we go up to New Rochelle next Saturday, where the Iona Gales, with their run-and-shoot offense, will try to slow down St. John's, as St. John's will try to notch another victory and stay on the hunt not only for the MAC championship, but also for a bowl bid, the ECAC Bowl in the postseason. Well, Billy Taylor, a joy to work with you again. Also, Kevin Christopher on the sidelines. Final score again, St. John's over Duquesne, 24-7. This is Ed Ingles thanking you for joining us for MAC football.